Welcome back. I'm so glad to have you guys back here, man. We have a terrific guest. He is the founder of the Ambrosia Collective, co-founder of Snack Food House. He's also the partner in Trifecta Food Delivery Services. He's the founder of the Sacred Society Mastermind. He is one of the OGs when it comes to fitness on YouTube. You've seen him all over the place. He's got 1.4 million on IG, 1.5 million on YouTube. You guys have seen him everywhere. I'm really happy to have him. Mike Rashid, how you doing today, man?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. And I really appreciate you coming out here and doing this, man. I really do. Can we talk about this, man? You are one of the first guys to do this. I was watching your interview with Bradley Martin. It was really interesting to watch this. But the whole thing that's so crazy about it that I didn't really understand was that a lot of your growth, it's really funny because Wes Watson's a buddy of mine. He started posting in jail in 2014 because he has one of those little flip phones. You were on the run from 2 charges. We can go over that. And you were building your social media empire until the federal marshals caught you. And then again, everything got thrown out in the end. And obviously, you know, it was justified.
I'm a free man.
Yeah, for sure. But can you go over, first off, the whole situation, home invasion, the second charge, and then what happened with that whole situation?
Yeah, it was crazy. So my previous life, I have so many lives, right? You know, just a young man trying to figure things out. For sure. I had a really good upbringing. You know, my grandparents were the rocks in our families, and they were it's interesting. Their generation had their shit together, but my parents didn't, you know? So, you know, they did a lot of the rearing, and my father, he did a lot for me. Like, my father gave me so much. He taught me how to be a man, right? All of the man lessons, firm handshakes, keep your word, eye contact, things of that nature. And the best thing that he taught me, though, was about character. Yeah. Because he would always say, son, we're men of character. You don't develop or show character when things are easy. Yeah. When the money's there, the girls are there. You show and develop character when times are hard. When you lose your job, when your girlfriend leaves you, this, that, and the third. What are you gonna do now? That's when it matters. So that's something that stuck with me, and I always honor my father for that. But he was still, you know, he didn't have it all the way together.
Your mother's from Georgia. Your mother and father were together in Brooklyn, and then your father moved to Arizona. Is that correct? Yeah,
they were never together, though.
Okay.
It was just more like my father was an older hustler. Got it. You know, my mother was a young, pretty Southern belle, you know. Her life path led her to New York when she was a kid. Yeah. She was 15. Really fucked up story. Her mother, and I don't call her my grandmother, but her mother put her out when my mother was 15. Right. Because her man was trying to fuck my mother. And my mother told her to protect her, and she didn't. She got jealous and kicked her out. So that offset the course of this woman's life. And my mother is a beautiful soul. You know what I mean? So much love in her, but she got so much vitriol in her too, because she had to deal with so much shit. And a child should not be dealing with these kind of things. For sure. You know? But that's the reality of the world that we live in. Children deal with shit like that. And it's interesting because my childhood is so weird, bro. Like, I had my grandparents who were educated, you know, they're immigrants, they're from the Caribbean. And when people migrate here, they have their shit together. Because they come from such horrible conditions, but here we take it for granted. Yeah. So I had that foundation, right? I was in private school, you know, I was a nerd. But I also had my mother having me in the projects, this, that, and the third, being around the drug dealers. And I seen at a very early age that life is very cheap. Like, the cost of life is nothing. Because I seen people, like, our friends would get killed, and the murderer would be hanging out with us, and we'd be scared of him, but nobody does anything. Yeah. Cops don't. I'm like, why don't the cops come? You know what I'm saying? You see this at such a young age over and over and over. So it kind of desensitizes you to a lot of things, right? Now, I do not regret anything that I went through, because I like the man that I am. Yeah. And the man that I am, so you're a veteran, and I salute you for your service. Appreciate you. I'm a veteran too. Yeah. You know, I feel like we have different paths, but the same turmoils and triumphs. You know what I'm saying? And we young men, like, trying to develop courage and bravery and find our purpose in life. And the paths are very similar, but just some are legal, some are not, right? Some are, you know, but it's all the same. The energy is the same. And that's why, like, you know, even though my genesis and my career, my legal career, but I was, you know, a fugitive, a lot of cops gravitated towards me, military guys, because they feel it. It's the same. We all got the same energy. Same, like, real guys got the same, like, metal. Masculine
dudes, yeah.
Correct. So anyway, Fast forward, growing up.
Which part of Brooklyn were you growing up in?
Bed-Stuy.
Okay, got it. All right.
But then when my mother left, because so after her husband died, we were just exposed, and his protection wasn't there. So, who knows? People snitch. I don't know. But my mother started doing the drugs that she was selling. I'm just watching this. I'm watching our lifestyle just go away, just deteriorate. And I was a kid, but I was just aware of shit. Like ski suit, that's worth more than $20. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Saxophone, $15. Come on, So, and I had all of these. I was a rich kid for a part of my life, and then I was poor.
Yeah.
So having that dichotomy was interesting. It gave me a different type of mix. And but I also got into boxing at a young age. That was like I think that kept me like sane.
You know what's funny? If you grew up in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, you play football. Right. It's not quite as much boxing. But if you grew up in the Northeast, I hear a lot more stories about people doing boxing up there. There was no boxing gym really where I grew up in East Dallas.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now y'all got Earl Spence.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all got something to be proud of. But yeah, New York, it's just a tradition, you know, and especially in like my family, everybody loved boxing. Yeah. So once I got my first pair of boxing gloves, that tasted like that competitive. Yeah. Like, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I love all sports. I played damn near every sport, but boxing was my thing because if I win, it's my win. If I lose, it's on me.
For sure.
Baseball, I was good, but our team sucked. So we lost. I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So in team sports, you can hide. People hide.
Yeah.
They can not be good and still win. I don't like that, you know? So boxing is just, it makes you a certain type of animal in a competitive nature because you have to win.
Yeah.
Or you get humiliated and hurt in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, so as I'm getting older, I moved to Arizona. My father was in Arizona at this time. And to go to college for me and also keep pursuing boxing.
And you end up going to State. I mean, that's like one of the biggest party schools in the country.
And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I think that scared me more than anything I've ever dealt with, like how crazy these kids were.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you not afraid of your parents? Like, you're not trying to pass?
That's what happened. When I went to UT Austin, it was the same. I had never, to this day, said a cuss word in front of my mom.
Same.
The idea that I would do that, and then I go to UT Austin, and I'm just like, it's 98% white.
Yeah.
I was in an all-black fraternity in college because I grew up around African Americans, and then when I go to college, there's just none.
Right.
And so there was it was all-black Christian fraternity. I was like, I'm just gonna hang out with you guys.
Right.
So and I just remember like meeting these kids, and it was like, your parents bought you that 4x4. You're 18 years old. Like, how the fuck do you have this, man? It was so crazy, man. That all the money that they had, and like, and the other thing is like, I'm not judgmental, but like 17-year-old kids and they're taking steroids, and I'm like, I would have money to buy steroids when I was 17 years old. Like, how did you even do this? And so it was just a very different conversation. But yeah, when I listened to them talk to their parents, I'm like, man, there's no way my dad would whoop my ass if I ever talked to him like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I just never even thought to. Like, it's not happening. Profanity. Look, I'm a grown man. I still don't curse in front of my parents.
Yes.
You know, with my dad now, it might slip up.
Yeah.
But that's he really want to be my friend now.
He's
been my dad all his life, and he's older. So, but it's interesting you say 17-year-olds on steroids, bro. I never touched nothing, alcohol, nothing till I was like, look, I never did a drug or anything till 2020.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't have a drink until I was 35 years old.
So I had a drink when I was 21. I just wanted to experience it. But it was just like, I didn't like it that much. And then I didn't really drink. And I don't drink now, but most of my life until like 2020, like COVID, we're bored. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
But so we grow, I guess when you have and grow up in these ethnic backgrounds, people think we're so bad and reckless, but like, nah, we're good. Like, because our parents will fuck us up.
You know the other thing I think is interesting is the reporting of way school shootings happen now.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was like this in Brooklyn. It was definitely like this in East Dallas. There were school shootings at Lincoln High School, Madison High School, Carter High School, Woodrow Wilson High School every year, multiple times a year. Now, it wasn't one guy coming in with an AR-15, but there'd be shootings, and it was never on the news. And now...
You know what is interesting?
Yeah.
We didn't have shootings like that.
Really?
Now, when I was growing up, Brooklyn was a war zone. It was a third world country. I remember for a minute, us in D.C. was going back and forth with the highest murder rate.
Yes.
And we're not even a city. It's a borough.
So you and I would have been freshmen in high school during the middle of the crack epidemic.
Yep.
Right? We were like, that's when you started listening.
No. Before that.
So the crack,
crack.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
You're in New York. So the crack epidemic is in 85 there.
Yeah.
In Texas, we like Oak Cliff, Baton Rouge.
Got you out later, probably.
Yeah, for sure. The murder capital of the country at one point was Oak Cliff, and it was crazy numbers. But that's because dope started moving down south, and you started having all these crack deals. That's when you start seeing 3-6 Mafia, 8 Ball and MJG. That's when you start seeing UGK, the Ghetto Boys. That's when that starts happening around that time period.
New York had already. So
that was a crack epidemic in '85.
We got
hit
hit with it in the '80s.
Yeah,
90s they're cleaning it up already.
Yeah,
what's his name? What's Trump's guy? The prosecutor, Giuliani.
Yeah,
he went through like a windmill through New York, and he put that RICO in, got the mafia guys, but got everybody. And then our friend Biden, the Clintons, they did a number on the inner city communities.
Yeah.
A number. I don't know why anybody would vote for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just evil people.
You're talking about the different time you got for rocks versus powder.
Bro,
is that what you're talking about?
yes.
So that ended during, Ryan Stewman, hardcore closer, you know him? Mm-hmm. So he was locked up for selling dope when that ended under the Bush administration, where powder and rock got the same amount of time. Because for those of you who don't know, you were getting disproportionately more time for selling rock, crack cocaine versus powder, and it was disproportionately affecting African Americans in the community. Which, by the way, that powder was let into the country by the U.S. government.
CIA.
Yes, partially by the CIA when it had to do with the situation in Nicaragua. This is not by the way, it's not a conspiracy. You can look this up.
Yeah, it went from Nicaragua all the way to the Iran Contras. Like they was funding a war in South America.
Correct.
Yeah, it's crazy with drug money.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. There's no good or bad.
Yeah.
It's all. Listen, we're all contained on this planet, right?
Yeah.
Floating in the middle of space, not connected to nothing, right?
Yes.
Figuring it out. We've done a pretty good job at it. We have order to some degree, but when they're like, this is right, this is wrong, like, nah. There's no real rules. Rules, if you think about it, was created by weak men.
Yeah.
Right? And it's fine, just so they can have a slice of the pie, right? I don't need rules. I feel like I don't need rules.
Right.
Like I'm an outlaw till I die, Now, how I live my life happens to be in accordance to the rules for the most part. But if I think something doesn't make sense, I'm not gonna abide by it. And I'm all right with the consequence if it comes.
Yeah.
But look, the government does so many things that one would deem bad. You know what I'm saying? But that's a high level conversation. Like the macro won't really get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because
of course.
It ain't for them. And it's about like control, right? 85% of the population of all populations are somewhat like sheep-like. And it's not a disrespect. That's just how it is. Because people are busy living their lives trying to survive.
And they also forget. They forget when things happened previously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, again, like we were talking about the whole war against the Sandinistas in Nicaragua in the 1980s. Like, again, we forget that whole thing happened. And that it's one of those type of situations. I'm going to debate a Holocaust denier on August 1st. And the whole thing is like, of course, you can have that debate now because why? Because it's been 50, 60 years.
They're debating that there was a Holocaust?
There wasn't. This guy's saying there was no Holocaust at all. And like, it's one of these situations where it's like.
What does it mean though? What does he mean by that?
What does he mean? Like, he means the whole thing is made up. He means the fact that there's the
mass extermination of Jews didn't happen?
The census data that shows there were 9 million Jews in Eastern Europe before the war and 3 million after. The fact that there are, during the Nuremberg trials, all of the officers all the Nazi officers admitted that there was a Holocaust. The fact that there were 1,500 U.S. servicemen who took photographs of the bodies and the shoes at those different places. The fact that there was human remains found in the ovens, and the fact that there was actually Adolf Eichmann has journals showing that they had killed 4 million Jews in the oven, like killed 4 million Jews in the concentration camps, and then another 2 million in either in transit or by firing squads.
I'm not saying that there wasn't. Yeah. But how could a journal that many people?
Because he's the highest ranked general in all of those people.
What kind of journal was this?
No, so they have to keep records on some level about what happened, right? Like at some point they have to go up and they have to. There's census data in Poland, right? And then all of a sudden these people are extracted and go off into extracted from ghettos and go off to concentration camps.
Right.
The thing is, 9 million people just don't exist anymore. Right. So if you want to make up whatever aliens showed up or they ended up in Russia, that's fine. But you have to explain where they went. You see what I'm saying? And so I think that's the issue. The point.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm not. I'm Protestant.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just one of these situations where it's like, It's like, if you want to have the discussion, that's fine. It's just it's the added part of like, it's also they're the reason why everything went wrong. And I'm like, man, I don't know if that's the case, because no matter who the president of the United States is, I'm not a victim. I'm still going to be rich no matter who.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, that's the whole thing that happened that's just a little bit problematic with this whole situation. But
I think it's good though. Like, so, all right, so people having a victim mentality, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But people also use that term as a weapon to not get people to talk about certain things.
Sure.
Even if you don't want, I'm not a victim by any means.
For sure.
But I like to talk about history and real things. But some people are like, oh, that's no, it's an inconveniencing truth. Let's talk about it, right? And I think that in our country, that's when real healing begins.
Of course.
When we can talk about shit that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I definitely want him to not be deplatformed. I still think he should be able to. It's Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other part is like, it's, for instance, he has an opinion that black people and white people should never have sex. They should never have babies. That's his opinion. If he wants to have that opinion, I think it's a little draconian, ridiculous,
cool.
right? But he has the right to believe it. But he's not using science to try to say that.
What's his position on that? Like, why does he say that?
It's some Old Testament religious stuff. I haven't gotten that far into it. I have to do 2 weeks of study before the debate that we're gonna have there. But that's one of the issues we're gonna have. And by the way, I don't hate the dude, and he has every right to say what he wants to say, and I don't have an issue with that. But it's like, I have debates with flat earthers too, and it's one of these things where when I go down these things.
All right, so on that flat Earth.
Yeah.
How do you know?
That it's round?
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. One, you can take what's called, here's the thing. No one explains this. It's funny whenever they get into these debates. There actually are answers. You can look these up. Just a couple of them. Number one, if I'm standing in the southern hemisphere and I'm in Buenos Aires, if I'm in Sydney, Australia, or if I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa, when I look to the south, I see the Southern Cross. If the earth was flat and I look to the south, I would see 3 different objects. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but no. What experiments or tests have you conducted to verify that?
So I used to be a navigator in the U.S. military. Okay. Well, first of all, I've been to the southern hemisphere and I've seen the Southern Cross, so I know that's the case.
Okay.
Secondly, I've flown in the southern hemisphere also, and I know that what would happen is if the Earth was flat, the distance between South America and South Africa would be like 20 hours.
Okay.
But think about it just being flat out like a pizza. But because it's only a 7-hour flight, you know that the distance between those two objects is not that extreme, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is we use great circle routes in order to plan flights. If the Earth was flat, we would just use straight lines in order to plan flights. But we use great circle routes because those maps that you're seeing are at a 60-degree angle.
Right.
And so you use those. And I've flown all the way to Iraq from Georgia. Right. I know for a fact that these great circle routes work, and they're the shortest.
So you're qualified to speak on these things?
Yeah.
Nobody is. Most 99. So whenever people are having a debate, I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because none of us know. Because I don't know. The picture, like, this is a picture. I don't believe nothing. Like, me personally, I don't believe anything.
Yeah.
I either know something or I don't know.
For sure. So that's called empiricism. The concept of empiricism is the only thing that matters is what I see and feel and touch. And you can become very rich and successful with empiricism. That's the case. The other thing, though, is like at some point, someone has to develop the transistor in 1947 that makes these iPhones. At some point, someone has to discover quantum mechanics that allows us to use the satellites. At some point, somebody has to believe in something. At some point, Galileo looks up in 1601 and he sees the 4 moons of Jupiter going around, and he goes to the Pope and he goes, hey, just to let you know, the Earth goes around the sun, and they lock him up, and he doesn't get forgiven until 1992, 400 years after he's dead.
I get that.
So at some point, somebody has to believe in something.
Yeah. I'm just, I reserve my speed to just jump on a belief
for sure
on things because I just need more information.
Of course, of course.
And me personally, I just really got to understand it.
Yeah, of course.
Because what you was explaining, I don't understand that shit.
But it's funny though. It's like basic stuff like that. People, like, I'll give you another example.
That's not basic.
Well, of course. But like the idea, like flat earthers believe that the moon is 4,000 miles above the Earth, right? So it's just a simple test you could do. You would bounce a beam off the moon, and however long it took to come down, you could tell what the speed of light is. So that would mean the speed of light is 4,000 miles a second. Well, that's ridiculous. You can go on 2 mountaintops and tell the speed of light is 300,000. It's 186,282 miles a second. So if you look at that and you know it's that speed and you know how long it takes, you know that the moon is 238,000 miles away. That is an immutable fact.
Yeah.
But once you do that,
you can test that, verify that.
Correct. So once you do that, the whole entire model breaks down. And then when you also you shine a light at the Sea of Tranquility, and there's a retroreflector that Neil Armstrong left up there in '69. When it comes back in 2.2 seconds, you're like, something's up there reflecting it. You can't say there's nothing up there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when you have the Chinese administration, the Indian Space Administration, the EU Space Administration, the Russian Space Administration, all sending probes up there. This is my favorite one, the moon landing deniers. If we didn't land on the moon, then why did Nikita Khrushchev congratulate the United States for landing on the moon? Like, really think about that. They're at war. They're about to go to nuclear war with us, and they're congratulating us. If anyone's not going to hold our water, wouldn't it be the Russians? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just like, it's very fun on the internet to question one side, but like when you try to contradict and say, here's evidence to the reason why this might be true. And the thing is, my background is physics. That's the reason why I talk about this stuff a lot. When you do so, the fact that we can have a discussion is awesome. The problem is, I'm going to say this, I promise you, watch in the comments after this, and people are just going to attack me. They're going to come after me because they're flat earthers or moon landing deniers, and they're just going to come after me.
Is that a big population?
It's not big, but it's loud. It's really loud. I did a debate, 4-hour debate with flat earthers, and it was 2,000 comments, and they were all personal attacks. They're just personal attacks. I was like,
fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck
exactly.
You.
No, apparently I work for the CIA. I'm a lizard person, and I take my orders from lizard people who live under Antarctica.
I lean into it. I like, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Somebody hit me one time. I like art, right?
Yeah.
And I like presenting things in an artistic way, just a cool way. So a lot of like my marketing, just the feel, the look, the texture of things have Illuminati reeking.
For sure,
right? I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
You know? So I've had people like talking shit in my comments. Like I read my comments.
Yeah.
They be surprised when I respond. So a guy said something like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I know he's in the fucking Illuminati.
Isn't it funny? Yes.
So I DM'd him like, I am in the Illuminati.
Here's your promo code so you can join too.
I'm like, bro, I said, would you like to join?
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's so hilarious.
No,
what people just want, they want to be heard. They want some attention.
Of course.
It's just funny. Human behavior is so predictable, and people are so simple. Some people, you know, which is kind of good. The reason I love my dog so much because he's simple.
Isn't it funny? Yeah.
The reason I hate people because they're so
complicated,
clever.
Yeah.
You know, and you know I have a complex mind, but I don't deal with people with any kind of cleverness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why. I find people that's clever with people are scared.
Yeah.
They're terrified, right? And I just don't fear anything or anyone. I don't fear any outcome of any decision I make. I don't fear nothing. So, you know, I have this thesis. I want to write about this, like for real, that God to most people is money and violence.
Right.
That's God. You can't tell me otherwise because you would do some weird shit for me.
Money and violence, yeah.
And I've been in rooms where men, powerful men or men with crazy resources, everything's getting neutralized when there's a potentially violent person in their midst.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
And then they're not in their midst when they're making YouTube comments. So they're just talking. Yeah. They're just talking crazy on the YouTube comments.
But you know, violence and money moves the world. Most people.
Yeah.
Most people. I'm one of those people that can honestly say that I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't care about death. Like, not that I don't care about it. I don't fear death at all. I look at things so different. And money is not a thing for me.
So when you can transcend violence and money, now you can live the life you want to live,
right? The
way you want to live it.
Yeah. Look, I'm a strange guy, I'm sure, to most people, because I move at the sound of my own drum.
Yeah.
Right? I don't do what they do, you know? I don't do what anybody do. If I do something that aligns with somebody, it's just by accident. It's not that I'm like, I want to be aligned with these people. Like, say, for instance, Fresh and Fit. Those are my bros. I love them to death. I had no idea. My YouTube rep set me up with them. He's like, oh, you're always in Miami. You should do a collab with them. I'm like, all right, cool. Fresh and Fit. All right. It's about money and being in shape. So they're asking me, you know, when they start asking me questions about women, I'm saying nice things.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yo, the comments is like, well, he's
it happened to me too.
Like, fascinating. This is weird. All right. So then they come out on my show and we just debate and going back and forth. A healthy debate.
It was great. I watched the whole thing.
Respectful, you know? And like I really respect Fresh and Myron. Those are my bros. I really like them. So the vitriol that I had in that community was to the people that followed them. So then I turned it to them. I'm like, yo, this is what you're leading this army. I know you're not saying this dumb shit, but your followers are. This is kind of dangerous, right? Because, you know, and I think the last time they came on mine, Myron was like, we just want to give the guys X, Y, Z. Good. But your audience is Your audience is 97% men.
Yeah.
But you're speaking your shit. It feel like you're shitting on women. You're trying to teach them, but teach the guys, right? But I understand that there is a degree of like, this is a show, you know, and this is what people want to hear. And I respect that shit straight up. And people lean into where the money come from.
Yeah.
And they believe the shit. It's not like they're fake about it. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
And they're so good at it. They're better at that than anyone in the world.
Yeah, for sure. They got a hell of a combination.
Yeah.
I just look at shit like, I'm looking at eradicating the problem. And I always put it back on me, on a man, on us, on fathers. It starts with fathers, you know? When women are fucked up, first of all, I won't date a woman who doesn't have a good relationship with her father.
Yeah.
Not just a relationship, but a good relationship. Like, she respects him, she loves him, he's her hero, you know? So it's like my job to take his job, you know what I'm saying? To topple that if I could do that, right? But it's always the father. Like, there's a show on Netflix called My Lover, My Killer. You ever seen it or heard of it?
I've heard about it, yeah.
All right, so this is about people in relationships and their significant other kill them. I watched 2 of them and I had to turn it off. It's fascinating because it's an interesting story, but it's so fucked up and so shitty. Both people that got murdered were young, and I blamed the parents. To me, it was the parents. Your daughter should have been protected, and not putting herself in situations with assholes like this. And then the father was like, yeah, he was kind of rude. I'm like, what? Like, you okayed that, right? So, and the other person was a guy. I feel like his family didn't protect him. So it's like, it starts at home. I feel like everything, education. Look, I have no knock towards any system that we have in our country, but I don't trust any system.
Yeah, you mentioned about the Prussian model of education, which is the one where they manufacture you. Basically, you go 10th grade and then 11th grade. We're all in 10th grade algebra and we're in 10th grade English. Then we go to 11th grade algebra and 11th grade English. And that model was used for a manufacturing society so that we could manufacture workers.
Right.
And that's why we don't learn things like personal finance. We don't learn how to trade stocks. We don't learn how to build a business when we're in high school, because those things are not beneficial to a manufacturing economy.
Well, that type of information and education is given to like private schools, Ivy League schools, things of that nature, but no public school system. Well, actually there are now, right? It's like where I live at, like everybody, I was putting my son in a school, it was a private school I wanted to put him in, it was like 5 people in the class. I'm like, this is perfect. But everybody was like, yo, it's a school called University High. It's like this shit. It's like one of the top schools in the nation, right? So it's just different out there, you know what I mean? But for the most part, you know, we're looking at the Waldorf Academy, Elon Musk Academy.
Yeah.
Like my daughter goes to one called Wonderstorm, and it's a combination of Montessori and the Waldorf Academy, but she has homeschooling. She does both. And I'm over there with the director. We talk a lot, you know what I'm saying, of her school. And I'm making sure the curriculum is what I think should, you know.
Yeah.
We as men should not be ignorant. We should have a degree of intellect about us, especially when you start having kids.
Yeah.
Because what do you mean you're going to give this beautiful little child to these strangers the most formidable or impressionable years of their lives? You didn't do a background check on your teachers. They do it on you.
Yeah.
You're not doing it on them. I'm not giving my children to nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It starts home, the foundation of it, and we do a little bit of school here and there for some social interactions, some connections and things like that. But yeah, it's people got to think, right? Well, people need resources for one.
Yeah.
You know, this country is not set up to help people make money.
Right.
You know, it's just to keep working, keep working, keep working.
You have the freedom to make money, but you're right. Our education system is not set up for people to make money.
You do have the freedom.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I love about this country. Anybody can be anything they want.
Yeah.
You know, we had a president named Barack Hussein Obama.
yeah.
Who talked about smoking weed and doing cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He became the president and he black, right? Single mother house. You know what I'm saying? We had grab about a pussy became president.
Yeah.
I fucks with this shit. I love it. You know, I think that we do need, you know, my little fantasy world, a 10 to 15, maybe 20-year dictatorship. Just to get shit back streamlined and in order.
Yeah, I've thought about that idea. Just pass everything by fiat for a little while.
Just a minute.
Basically becomes Russia for a little while,
Yeah, just to get shit in order. You have to respect Russia.
Yeah.
You have to respect Putin for what he did to his country, because who was it? What was the guy? Was it Gorbachev? No, not Gorbachev. Who was the guy?
Gorbachev, then Yeltsin, and then Putin.
Was Yeltsin the drunk?
Yeltsin, yeah, he did drink. Yeah, he did drink.
That guy was a joke. We beat them up. Well, us in Afghanistan, Cold War. Then Yeltsin was just a shit show.
Yeah.
And Putin, he really got that country back in a favorable position for them.
Yes.
You know? And I respect that.
There's a major power vacuum, and they had some industry. They've moved over more to petroleum and selling weapons and things like that, and caviar and vodka as well. But yeah,
right. Yeah. And I don't look at these ideologies that they teach, that they preach. Like everything that I've learned, all the programming that we have been programmed is all wrong. It doesn't benefit us; it benefits them, right? So, and back to what you were saying about that Prussia type school system, this 200-year-old system that hasn't been modified in all of this time. It's like, where's the customization? You know?
Yeah, it's because of teachers unions for the most part. They're not going to allow people.
I can
to change
tell
it.
that you will not thrive in a 30-person classroom.
Bro, it was hard. It was very difficult.
Same with me. I would fall asleep. I would sit. I wanted to be a good student. See, I've always loved learning. I sit in the front of the classroom intentionally and fall asleep because it would be so boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, this, we know it's not right. And look at where we are now. We're all in spaces where online education is a big thing, right? And like I have people like in my mentorship program that they wasn't making much money. 3 months in, they're making this kind of money, and it just follow this playbook, right? People can learn how to make money in less than a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have a little bit of freedom for themselves. But you go through the system, it's silly. Look, 8th grade year for my son. He's doing the online school because it was COVID, right? I just bought a house in Irvine, but before we moved in, we were still at the condo because the internet wasn't set up over there.
Sure.
So he had to use the internet. So I'm just sitting there so he could finish the class, and I'm listening to this idiot teacher in his business class. All the kids that had to give their business proposals, right? And one kid wanted to open a gym. And the teacher's like, what? You know how much money that would take? And you need $1 million and all of this bullshit, right? I'm like, it's not necessarily you need that much money, but what if you did? So what? Why are you shitting on this guy's dream, right?
I know, right?
And what do you know? You're a teacher.
Yeah.
You work for a high school or 8th grade.
Yeah.
You don't know shit about business other than what you read in some book.
Yeah.
Look, marketing changes every month. You know what I'm saying? You can't get a 4-year degree and think that you know some shit. You got to get out there in the market and learn it. You know? So people are waking up. There's a paradigm shift, and we're in the middle of it. I see it. I feel it. I think I'm a part of it. I think people like yourself is a part of it, man. So, it's happening. Question for you.
Go ahead.
Because you seem like you are a well-read man, and you seem like a person who thinks.
Yeah.
You don't just take the surface level shit. What is your assessment of Andrew Tate and what's happening with Andrew Tate?
So the issue is I texted him a couple days ago, or no, actually last week. And the thing is, when he got out of jail, I was going to say me and Justin Waller and a couple guys are going to go over there and try to interview him. He's been nothing but nice to me. Yeah. He reached out to me way before any of this stuff happened. Yeah. He was going to come on my show. Same thing with Bradley and a bunch of other guys. He's been great. I listened to what he's saying. There were a couple of times initially, and he said this on Piers Morgan. He's like, I wish I'd used different words.
Right.
And I have you talked about this previously with Bradley, where it was you have a responsibility as an influencer to say things a certain way, right? And there's a couple things where I wish he'd said different. He admits to the same thing, but I was like, this is not misogynistic because he doesn't hate women. Yeah. None of this is hate towards women. What he wants is his opinion. If you are a feminist and you believe that women should be in the workplace and have the same amount of money, you have the right to believe that. However, if a woman wants to stay at home and take care of her kids, she's not setting your movement back, and she has the right to do that if she wants to choose a traditional lifestyle. I think what happened after that, though, is I believe the Romania. And I'm not going to speak to the charges one way or the other because we don't have all the evidence, and I haven't seen any evidence to be perfectly honest. Other than I've seen 2 of the girls who apparently accused him go out and get a fucking pizza box, walk back inside, and then get in an Uber and leave, and then claim later that they were held against their will. But now apparently they're not testifying for the prosecution anymore. But the main thing that I'm seeing is that this concept of there's a couple things that bother me. Number one, I've had friends of mine who are politically progressive, liberals or feminists, and they're like, "No, he's guilty. Do you see where he said this in this interview?" And I'm like, "No, because he said something you don't agree with does not make him convicted of a felony. Right. So because you don't like him, then in your mind he's guilty. Yeah. That's a problem. And by the way, it's a problem for both sides. Like I need to see the evidence. I believe the preponderance of right now shows me that he's probably not guilty. I want him to not be guilty.
Right.
But but I believe so because of evidence. There's some people out there that are just like, he's innocent no matter what they say, he's going to be innocent. No, the best way to do is to wait and see what happens. Right. I don't think he's guilty. Now, here's what happens. What happened after that was he's made a ridiculous amount of money. Hustle University is probably pushing anywhere between 10 and 20 million a month is what he was collecting. And at that point, it's like this idea that you're trafficking women when you're making 20 million a month. For what? For fucking TikTok videos? Doesn't make any sense. So explain this to me. No explanation. And then you hold him for 6 months and you don't charge him with a crime. But for those of you who don't know, he was charged on the 20th. That is 9 days before the end of the 6 month period. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, now I don't understand what's going on. What I do know is this, right? I want you to consider this. What would you be, if you think about somebody who's going to fight like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, they would probably juice up beforehand. If you were going to fight for $20 million, you'd be willing to cheat. Not you specifically, but a lot.
I would.
Yeah, for sure. They'd take whatever. If you're Romania, would you be willing to cheat? Remember, they collected $385 million in crypto. That's not $385 million for the state of Nevada. That's $385 million for one of the poorest countries in Eastern Europe. What would you be willing to do to keep that money? How far would you be willing to go to keep that money?
I have a lot of crypto, right?
Yeah.
You can't. How do you take that?
They may have had like unlocked wallets or something like that. I mean,
So
they
stole it.
I'm thinking, well, they went in and they absconded with like maybe hard drives and things like that. And if they weren't encrypted, then the only way that I can think that they would even know that there was 385 million is because they were unlocked hard drives. Does that make sense? And like, if you have that many transactions,
you have it on a hard drive.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they found. The point I'm trying to make is, let's look at this from a third party standpoint. It took you 6 months to charge him.
Right.
The first time you went after him, he was clearly innocent. Those women were clearly not being held against their will. Like, there's no evidence to support that. Two of your witnesses have now turned to the defense. The judge has now said those witnesses' testimony has been coerced, and therefore they're throwing out so it's funny, the witnesses' testimony was accurate when they were testifying for the prosecution. Now that those same witnesses are testifying for the defense, they've been coerced. Okay, so that seems interesting that you're doing that. And what I believe, honestly, is I think Andrew there were some elements in there that were trying to bully him to stay. Andrew was like, I've converted to Islam. I'm just a hypothetical. I don't know this to be the case. I'm going to move me and my assets to Dubai. And when I do so, now you do not get to tax this wealth that I'm getting. I also, whatever means of wealth I was creating for myself here in Romania, I no longer need those casinos, etc., whatever those were. And I'm going to leave. And Romania's like, whoever the forces may be, are like, no, you can't leave. If you leave, we're going to turn the cops on you. And it was a bluff. They played a game of chicken. And then what happened was, I don't think Romania understood the backlash that was going to happen when they charged him. And now that it's like sunk cost fallacy. This should have gone away. And they probably wish it had, but because it hasn't, now they have to go all the way with this.
But they don't. If they never charged him.
No, agreed. But no, once they charged him.
Nobody would have, well, if the thing, that was what, last week, right?
Yeah. No, but he would, so the original, it was a pre-indictment that said the Loverboy method, the rape and all that kind of stuff. It was already on there. What happened is he wasn't formally charged, but the charges matched the original document. So we knew those things were going to come. And Andrew even said it in his interview with Patrick Bet-David about 2 weeks ago. He stated, I think I am going to be charged. They can't go 6 months and not charge me with anything. I think Romania really, like, it's almost like your girlfriend picking a fight. Now she knows she's wrong and she kind of wishes, like, it's not that big of a deal, but you're not going to let it go because you lied about me. So now we're going to take this to the end. I think Romania has got themselves in a heap of shit. And my biggest fear is they're going to go above and beyond to get this conviction and say whatever they got to say to get it. And that's my only issue. Because if that's not the case, show me the fucking evidence. And you haven't shown me any.
Well, they're not going to show nothing if they have evidence. They're going to save that for trial.
Well, the problem is the defense gets discovery. And if you're going to charge someone with 20, so here's one of the other things.
But keep in mind this too, like, I've been on that side.
Yeah.
If they're getting discovery, they're not going to tell the public.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think Andrew would, though. You don't think Andrew would?
It wouldn't be smart.
I agree that it wouldn't be smart, but it might not be smart for him to go on BBC and PBDs also. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was fine. He can handle himself well.
He can.
So I don't think he's the type of person that can take the stand, no problem.
Agree.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. This is my thing. I like him.
Yeah.
From what I observe of him, I like him. I resonate with him. I fuck with him hard.
Yeah.
I love my favorite social media moment of his is him smashing Pierce at chess.
Yeah.
Because I've been a chess player. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I feel so many parallels between he and I, you know. I just never, I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit nicer with girls.
Yeah.
But I don't have.
No, they love him.
He seemed nice too, though.
The girls love him.
Yeah.
You know how many girls have hit me up because they know I know him, trying to get at him?
Yeah.
Like someday I'll show I'm not going to show these, but like I'll have groups of girls and they'll be like, hey, Andrew, and I'll send it to Andrew, and he'll like love the fucking video.
Yeah.
I used to do that to him all before he even got locked up. I would send him these videos because these girls were like wanting to send him stuff. And my whole thing is whether or not he's guilty or innocent doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you like him.
Right.
People need to get that shit out of their head.
Yeah, and let's reserve judgment to you.
Thank you.
Let it play out.
Exactly.
You know? And look, I know a lot of people that it's so interesting. I'll just say something on social that I think is out of respect for women.
Yeah.
It's protecting women. You know, one time I did a post about like, and these are questions I'm answering them.
Yeah.
They take, it's a clip, we put it up. And I was just saying like, yeah, I wouldn't want my woman at war with me. I don't want her to serve with me. You know what? You serious? Like, that's so bizarre to me, right? And I talked about how like, oh, we have this Me Too thing, right? See, I'm a Muslim as well. I've been a Muslim all my life, right? So in our custom, it's like you keep men and women apart.
Of course.
It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So you put me in this room with this woman for 8 hours every day, and I'm a guy, 22 years old, horny as shit. She's cute, whatever. You know, things happen, right? Things are said. Men make women uncomfortable. It's not okay, right? But you're creating a situation to where it's bound to happen. You can't be mad at a dog for eating some food if you left alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a weird thing that this culture, our culture, has, and the comments, these women. I tell them like this. Another thing that people get triggered with me about is polygamy, right?
Yeah. So can we talk about this real quick?
Yeah.
So you are polygynous. You've said poly before, and I think a lot of people, because when you say poly, they think what you're saying is multiple men, multiple women. No. You and I have the same thing. Yeah. I'm polygynous and you're polygynous, meaning we date multiple women. Right. In your case, you have multiple women that might be with you. In my case, it is me and my girlfriend, and we see women together. So that's what
that's still polygyny.
Yeah, it's polygyny. So a lot of people, we don't have our own flag, by the way. Polyamory has a flag in the LGBT parades. Polygyny, apparently one alpha male fucking several women doesn't get their own flag.
I love this question. So they be like, so can a woman have multiple men? I'm like, if she wants, sure. Not for me.
Yeah, not for me. That's exactly.
If that's what you want, go for it. They don't know woman wants that.
Yeah.
They're just talking to talk. You know, they want me to be like, oh, well, no, it's not fair. Like, no, it's fair. If a woman can pull that off, go do it. I don't want no parts of that.
Exactly.
And no man that you would want wants any parts of that.
I am not a misogynist or a bigot because I don't want to be with a woman who's like that. Yeah. That's exactly right. And I'm also not a misogynist because I don't want to be with a woman I'm not physically attracted to because of whatever the thing is. Because that doesn't make a woman a misandrist because she chooses to be with men because they're over 6 feet tall. It's funny how women really, really have an issue with men being short, but when men have a problem with a woman being overweight, all of a sudden there's this massive double standard that happens, and it's really problematic. And I think that is one of the things that the Myron and Fresh's content exposes.
Right.
What happens though is that some people in the community take it an extra mile, but they're willing to do $100 super chats, and they're willing to give you over 1 million subs. Like you have 1 million, you have 1.5 million, but they got 1 million quick.
Yeah,
and so did Pearl Davis. They got 1 million quick. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's different for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's a whole new whole new world. Here's the thing with Fresh and Fit. All right, so Rollo, when he did a video about me after my appearance on Fresh and Fit, and I felt it was a slight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't seen it. What was it exactly?
Mike Rashid, Blue Pill Alpha.
Okay.
So, and look, I respect Rollo. I think he's a very intelligent guy. I respect what he's done. I didn't like that thing right there.
Of course.
I was like, have a conversation with me first, because here's the thing. I felt like it was telling people to be dismissive of me because I always had it made. I don't get it. I don't understand. And that's not the case. You know what I mean? So, talking about, oh, he's always been attractive, like that's a weird thing to talk about. Like, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like women, I don't think that women give a shit about how attractive a guy is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, cause I got homies that are like, you got her? All right, cool. And I've been seeing that for years. Broke, ugly dudes getting bad bitches. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is just game and confidence, right? So it was like, nah, bro, talk to me before, because look, I wasn't used to just people. It wasn't just him. It was a lot of people making. It looked like my videos but it was like kind of shitting on me, but kind of being nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm cool with you shitting on me. Let me, you know, what it is when people do these reaction videos, it's like a documentary. Like people think documentaries is so real. Like, nah, it's a movie. It's a movie of whatever that person wanted you to.
And it's biased.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just one of those down the middle fair people, like on all the way across the board. So I like to have real, like high level conversations. So I'm like, this is not high level, and it's kind of painting me out to be kind of like you just can't take his advice because he doesn't get it. Yeah. Now, there's one thing I didn't understand, that I didn't know, I wasn't aware of, the number of men that don't get pussy.
Yeah, so there is a GSS survey that came out, and it basically stated at the time it was 28% of men having zero sexual partners under the age of 30. And that number was 18% 10 years prior. So it had gone up 10%. Right. That 8 years from 2008 to 2018 were the 8 years that the iPhone finally had the Facebook app on it. So they related it to social media and stuff like that. Destiny came on and he was saying, no, it's because of housing prices. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not because of housing prices. It's because the phone made men, what it did is it made a small group of men have incredible access to lots of women and a large group of men have no access to any women. So that was the first issue. The second study showed that 26% of men under the age of 30 were virgins. Like they hadn't had sex with anyone. And that was another crazy number. And when you explain that to women, though, you know, we'll have a show here, they'll have 10 girls on here, and they've all dated 6'3" male strippers and they've all fucked like, you know, male VIP hosts and stuff like that. And they're like, there's no way. All these guys are getting laid all the time. And then you take them to Walmart.
Your guys are getting laid. Yeah.
You take them to Walmart and you look at the cashier and you're like, who's fucking him? And she's like, oh, I forgot that was a man also. That's also a man.
Yeah. No, it's real. It's real. Because look, I've always had an abundance, you know, at every stage of my life. So it's funny because when I was in college, so I stayed at the dorm Manzanita at first, and it was like too crazy. So I got an apartment. One of my boys came and stayed with me for like a week. We was hanging out, and you know, just different girl at the house every day, right? And about Friday, he was like, bro, how do you do this? I'm like, do what? Like, you don't do this?
Yeah.
I thought it was normal, you know what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing. That's not good, though. I'm going to tell you why. Because that was a large part of my young adulthood of me just getting good at getting girls. Yeah. Putting a lot of energy in something like that.
Do you think your upbringing in Brooklyn and your almost like stoicism when it came to things like life and death helped you when it dealing with girls?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Because when we're young, we're so overly reactive, and like the women can see when you're 22 and you're trying to do anything to get pussy. But if you're stoic, like you've been through some. Bulgarian has a great quote. He says, when you get out of college, he advises for some guys, go in the military for 2 years. That way, when you get out, now you're 21 years old, you got a little bit of money, and now you're a freshman in college. All the other male freshmen you're going up against, they can't fuck with you. You're a man. Yeah. And so that might be the difference there.
Yeah. So I grew up fast. For one, a sport, boxing. It was a hard sport. Yeah. You know, you're alone, you were disciplined. I got up and ran every morning at 6 a.m. You know, nobody did that. By the time I got to school, I'm wide awoke. Everybody's still like groggy. You know, just little things like that. I always had somewhat of an advantage because of boxing.
For sure, yeah.
You know? And then Brooklyn, like at the time that I grew up, it was just, Brooklyn, New York City as a whole, it's overpopulated. Yeah. At the time, very limited resources. You had to be special to get seen, heard, or get your fair share. You had to fight hard. You had to be having like internal endurance to keep going, right? There's so many people that I know that were probably some of the best athletes in the world that just didn't make it. Yeah. They're in prison or whatever, right? So, you know, all of that shit helped me because look, I got dealt with somewhat of a shitty hand from the outset, but it was a great hand because look, pressure produces diamonds or bust pipes, right? So all the pressure that I had, it didn't crush me, you know? So it made me a diamond. It gave me so much perspective, so much wisdom, and so much like fortitude. Nothing bothers me, you know? Silly things bother me, like just things I don't understand. Like, how could you think like this, right? But nothing bothers me because everything that happens to me, I attract it to me. I cause it to happen. A destiny is your decisions. Yeah. So, and my decisions, I love myself, so I make proper decisions for myself, right? And the times that I've made improper decisions, I ate it. I'm like, I shouldn't have did that shit. I fucked up. All right, let me sit this one out. Yeah. Let me deal with it. Come on, I lean into my punishment because I need to deal with it. Let's go. I don't want no surprises. So, you know, when it comes to women, it's the same. Here's the thing. I've created the reality that I want.
Yeah.
I created an ideal life for me. So I come and go as I please. I can have who I want. And look, this is interesting because this is what I used to tell Fresh and Fit audience. When I didn't have my shit together, I stayed in my lane.
Yeah.
I wasn't butthurt because I wasn't trying to holla at girls out of my league. They were out of my league.
So you weren't upset about that, whereas some of these other guys are like, because they're getting rejected, they're sitting there on these message boards screaming at women.
That's not a logical position to have.
Correct.
You know that you can't, where are you going to take her to eat at?
Yeah.
Like it's funny because there's a guy one time, this little loser, he used to, big bro, help me with this, help me with that. But he tried to shoot at like my baby mom. I'm like, what can you do with her? Like,
yeah.
Okay, let's say you fucked her, then what?
Yeah.
Like you can't take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? I look at life different. So I think the fact that I am a Muslim, my relationship and how I think men's relationship with women is a little bit different.
Sure.
Right? Even a young dude, it's like you get a woman or women and you take care of them. You protect them, you provide, you lead them, you guide them, all of that shit. It's a great responsibility, but the reward is, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't look at it like, oh, I'm gonna just fuck her. Just even in my form of romance or polygyny, I don't have random hookups.
Right.
Yeah,
you mentioned that before.
Yeah, I just don't want to do that. I've done it before, but it's just, I don't like it. I feel like I'm giving this woman a great time and she just goes away. Like, nah, it's an investment of my time, my energy. Everything's an investment.
Yeah.
I want to see the fruits of that.
Of course.
Yeah,
I mean, I think one of the things, because you mentioned this earlier, is that I think there's a level of freedom that you have when you were saying, when I resonate with people, that's just on accident. But I think one of the reasons why so many people resonate with you is because you're free. Like you are free in the way, like the true way that people are free, meaning financially free. You do what it is that you want to do. You're free when it comes to women or whatever your opinions on political things may be, you're still completely free. And I felt like a lot of people resonated with Andrew for the same reason, is because he came off with this certain level of freedom. You can lock me up. I still got 400 million stashed somewhere you don't know about. And the same thing with Bilzerian. Bilzerian talked about money does not buy you these things. Money allows you to not deal with things you don't want to deal with. If there's a problem, just pay it off and get it out of my way.
You can never lock me up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't lock me up.
Yeah.
Listen, so I had a contingency plan on when the marshals came and got me.
Yeah.
Right?
So, because we skipped over that whole part. First off, the manslaughter charges, which then led to a deferred sentence, which then led to aggravated assault charges, and then you were on the run.
It wasn't
wrong?
deferred. It wasn't deferred.
Okay.
So, all right. So, make a long story short. So, I was selling drugs, like a lot, right? Wholesaling, like mid-grade Arizona or Mexican weed to the East Coast. So, like, say I can get it for like 500, easy math. I could get it off for 1,000. So, I'm moving like 100 packs a week. You know what I'm saying? So, now, people get caught, and I learned this after the fact. Everybody out there was snitching.
Yeah.
So the cops, they know what everybody's doing, but it's just not important yet, or there's no violence or whatever, or you're not a big enough fish or whatever. So they knew what I was doing, but I never got in trouble. I never got caught up because I don't move reckless. And I'm a thinker. Like a lot of guys is just reckless and wild. You know what I mean? I'm a thinker. So, and I did really good business, right? So I'm living my best life. I'm like when you young balling, it's different. You know what I'm saying? So, and I would buy bars out at the club. I buy the bar. I own the clubs, right? I'm in there with my chick. A side chick comes in. I'm looking at security like, get that bitch out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever I want.
Is this like Scottsdale?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I ran that shit.
Yeah.
Right. So in Atlanta, I was all over the place.
Yeah.
So at this time, I'm like starting to grow up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be that guy that said, oh, I'm gonna just do it for this amount of time and then get out.
Yeah.
And I end up in prison. Because another thing my father told me, he says, in the streets, the odds of you just making it is not high. You're gonna get killed, robbed, or locked up. It's rare that somebody just figure it out, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was always in the back of my mind. And then I would find myself in situations, just like, for instance, me and and I always had, like, my friends were not hustlers. It was like good dudes.
Yeah.
Smart people, you know what I'm saying? And me and one of my boys, Mars, shout out to Matt Marzullo, that's my brother. Mars, we hanging out with these girls, and I got on all this big jewelry and shit. And I'm like, and we having intelligent conversations. And I'm doing this. I find myself doing, like, I had the big medallion. I'm like, kind of like hiding it. I'm like embarrassed I got this big stupid shit on, right? And you ever be around somebody with bad teeth?
Yeah.
When they laugh, they kind of like go like,
yeah, for sure. They cover their mouth.
That's how I felt about my jewelry.
Yeah.
It was so gaudy and ignorant and silly, right? Another situation, me and my guys, we're out at the club or some shit. A dude is tripping on my guys. And we would be super deep all the time. This dude would have died that night, right? But he's drunk. So I could see my guys kind of get around. I'm like, yo, leave him alone, bro. Leave that shit alone. Like, I was growing out of all of this dumb shit, right?
He was being disrespectful.
Yeah.
And normally
but
he would got fucked up, but he was drunk. And he was,
So I'm like, leave him alone, bro.
Yeah.
You gonna stomp him out, he ain't gonna know what happened. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, at this particular time, I attracted a very diseased situation to me to prevent something worse from happening, because it was bound to happen. One thing about me is I'm extremely authentic with whatever I do. Yeah. So I had an army, and I had some real, like, formidable guys. Yeah. And I used to be like, why don't they try to fuck me up? Why don't they try to do something to me? You know what I'm saying?
You have to show them that you're in charge.
So I would always do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't smart, because nobody does that. Yeah. Right? So, and I understand why, because money controls people, right? But I just didn't want to lead like that. So it was just a matter of time before I made the wrong person uncomfortable and scared people kill you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get killed. So I was very paranoid. I'm attracting all this negativity to me. So I come home one night. My daughter was just born. So we had a big house, and my girl's sister she was at the house that day.
Are you in Scottsdale, like near Camelback in that area? Are you in Phoenix? Where are you at?
At this point, I'm in Gilbert.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah. So, and I'm the only black person there.
That was my next question is, like, when you're buying out the bar in Scottsdale.
Oh, in Scottsdale, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing but white people there. Yeah.
No, it's mixed.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody hung out in Scottsdale.
Got it.
Scottsdale was like the millionaire's playground.
Right.
Everybody came there on a low. You know, it's a vibe. So this particular night, I come home, and the garage is usually open, especially the fact that she just gave birth. Her sister was there. She left. It's still open. No biggie. I come home, there's a guy in my garage, like, going through shit. And listen, I'm the only black guy that lived in Gilbert at the time. He's black, prison tats. Scary looking motherfucker, right? Yeah. So I'm not even tripping. So it's me and two of my guys. I said, I hop out, I had my pistol behind my back. I'm like, what's up, man? What you doing? What you looking for? He was like, can I help you? He seemed real sharp, like, can I help you? And irritated. Can I help you? I'm like, can I help you? I like, what are you doing? He's like, this is my dad's house. I was like, that's crazy. He didn't seem drunk, nothing. He seemed normal. But he's like, this is my dad's house. I'm like, is that right? So he's like, what you got behind your back? I said, oh, this? Then he ran into the house. I said, oh, no, fuck that. So I ran in behind him and started dumping. And, you know, my kids is in there.
Yeah, of course.
So hit him. He's still on his feet. He runs all the way up to the top floor, third floor, jumps out the window. You look down, it looked like a massacre. Wow. There's rocks, and he land on the rocks. He's nowhere to be found. So police come. They're being cool, right? And look, I never had anything at my house, right? But this one particular time, I had a pack at like an 80 pack, right? In the front, like when you first come in, but it's wrapped, right? And my method, you're not gonna smell it. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm just worried, I'm more worried about the weed than the shooting.
The coffee beans and the...
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you off.
Okay, yeah, tell off.
I don't want to fuck up the game.
Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know what they know, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. But anyway, so they come, they ask me everything. I'll tell them honest, you know. So then the sergeant comes, and he's like, all right, let me hear it from you. And I'm like, told him everything. He said, okay. Did he have a gun? I said, nah, I don't think so. I fucked up right there. And then, so he's like, no gun. He said, well, any of my guys would have did exactly what you did.
Of course.
He said, if it makes you feel any better, any of my guys, I'm like, that don't make me feel good. He said, but you, in the state of Arizona, you have to match force with force. You have the right to remain silent. Started reading my Miranda rights. Bro, my vision started going like this.
Yeah.
It's like my brain trying to handle it. Like, fuck, this can't be happening to me. This don't happen to me, right? So I'm like, fuck. So they take me down. and they put me in the interrogation room. I'm like, I'm telling her everything. And they're just like, I'm like, why they keep asking me these questions? And then I said one thing, and then they was like, so I'm getting frustrated. It's late. I'm tired. I said, look, I would kill. What did I say? I would kill and I would die a slow, painful death for my children.
Yeah.
And the lady felt like that was it. That's what we needed. She like, okay. And left. And they booked me. So the bond was $158,000. So you put up collateral and 10%. So I put up 16 grand, got right out. This is like the weekend. So like say like Wednesday, they drop it. I'm like, oh shit, well no shit.
Yeah.
Self-defense. So shit, like a week later, I get a thing, summons. They reclassified it as manslaughter.
Okay.
He just didn't die yet. The guy was on meth and it kept him alive.
That's what I thought initially when you said he was real sharp.
Yeah,
my first thing I'm thinking is meth. Yeah.
And I never seen a person on meth before.
Yeah.
Until that day, or a black dude on meth.
Yeah.
We had a tattoo artist, a Mexican dude, was on meth, but he was cool.
Yeah.
That dude, it was different. It was scary. So look.
Yeah.
Not only was he high on meth, but he was just let out of jail.
Yeah.
By accident. So his rap sheet was this thick. I'm like, how does this motherfucker not death, like murdered, all kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So if you seen him, like, I don't know if you've ever been to jail, but there's types of people that you didn't know exist.
Yeah.
The scariest of the scary. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so they reclassify. I'm like, fuck.
Because no matter what happens, it's still, even if it's third-degree murder or manslaughter, some places used to call it third-degree murder, and now it's manslaughter. Even if that happens in a situation, this is something you got to deal with. They tell you this when you go to a firearms class. It's like, if you shoot someone, just know that even if it's justified, you're probably going to spend $100,000 in dealing with court cases because their family is going to make up some other reason why this didn't happen.
Yeah.
In this situation, you shot him. He's probably running away from you. That's probably one of the issues that you have.
That was it too.
The main issue. The other thing, one of my questions I want to ask you is, if this happened in the state of Texas, I don't think they would have charged you with manslaughter. Is that correct? Yeah. Same thing in the state of Nevada, I believe.
And Florida.
In Florida. So that would be castle doctrine, in which case, if he comes anywhere.
That exact doctrine is what saved me, though.
Yeah.
Because Arizona adopted that years later.
Okay.
All right, so let me tell you how it happened. So they end up dropping it again. And I'm like, cool. But they dropped it without prejudice. Now, they drop it with prejudice. That means it's never coming back.
Yeah.
Without, it might. Maybe they're trying to tie up some loose ends.
That means they never charged you. So so what happens is you can't be charged twice with the same crime in the United States. It's double jeopardy.
That's once it's adjudicated.
Yeah.
So they can drop it without prejudice.
Got it.
That just means that they can bring it back at some other point. It's a reason why they didn't, you know what I'm saying, put prejudice on it. So they didn't put prejudice on it. But I'm like being positive, like, fuck it, I'm free. So another thing happens, like, I don't know, 6-7 months later. And self-defense.
This is the ag assault where a guy reaches into your car.
Yeah. So,
and you're armed at this point, which is why I changed it.
I was always armed. Yeah. In Arizona, everybody's armed.
Of course.
You know? And I think it should be like that.
Yeah.
So he grabbed me. I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Open my car door and grab him. You know what I'm saying? So he gets off of me. It was a fight before that. I got jumped and won, but I'm the bad guy. You know what I mean? So we leave. A friend of mine worked in some law office down there. And she said, look, cause I told her, yo, let me know if anything, you hear anything. And she was like, look, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, she said, I don't know when, but they're gonna file charges on you. I'm like, for what? I'm like perplexed. So then she was right. So now there was surveillance on me. I found out this after, like later, because another friend of mine, he was the biggest boss there is. I didn't even know that. Mexican guy, I'm not gonna say his name because he's still out there, but he had a huge state and fed case at the same time, right?
Did they find the 80 pack that was in your?
No.
Okay, it just happened to be there, and you just got to. Okay.
And they had dogs in my house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, blacks and Mexicans are not supposed to be friends that hustle, that sell drugs, right?
Just like it is in prison.
Well, blacks usually rob the Mexicans.
Okay.
So I never robbed nobody, right? And my Mexican, I didn't even have it. So you would have it like this. It would be a paisa bringing the work in.
Yeah.
Then a Chicano gets it to the black dudes, right? I had a paisa. I didn't have a middleman, right?
Yeah.
And then my paisa was like my best friend. So the paisa happened to be, he's a paisa, but he was raised in America, so he's like a Chicano anyway.
Yes.
So he's like a little hybrid, but he got paisa prices, but he's charging me Chicano prices. I didn't even know there was a paisa price. One night we out, he get jumped. I save his life. It was crazy. I knocked out like 6 people that night. I thought it was cool, but it was stupid. But he had so much loyalty to me after that. He started giving me the work at cost.
Wow.
So you can imagine the money I was making, right? So anyway, they didn't know why I was cool with all of these Mexicans, these high-level Mexicans, right? And I didn't even know what my one friend did. I just know he was rich.
You're just hanging out with your homie who's rich.
We're friends.
You get into a fist fight.
You know when dudes have money, well, me and him work together.
Yeah.
But the other one, the one that got a big case,
yeah.
It's like if me and you start hanging out, you hang out with people with money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they meet their girlfriend through me. They get a job through me or whatever. They don't even, they're loyal to me and they don't even know what I do and I don't know what they do.
Right. Like me and mommy, we do yacht week in August. Like we do shit like that. You can't do that with your regular homies. You know what I'm saying? So me and this dude, we became real cool and he was smart as shit. So we really rocked, right? You look at him, you think he's just some criminal, but he's fucking brilliant, right? I think about people like him like, damn, he could be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? If he applied that in something positive. But anyway, so he had such a big thing. So they were looking at him, or they got him, but they started looking at me because of him. So they knew everything about me. I had a cache of weapons, right? All legit though. I had Kalashnikovs, you name it. Semi-automatic shotguns, you know what I'm saying? Like all the fly shit, right? So when they brought the charges up on me, the new charges, we was getting followed that day. Me and my girl, it was so obvious. All the shit you see in the movies, when it happens in real life, is silly.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all are not smart. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is, like, I'm gonna just pull over here. They scramble to pull in. I'm like, it made me very uncomfortable. The next day, as soon as I leave the house, they pull me over in the middle of the street, shotgun. Like, it was just over the top. I'm like, I'm not gonna run. Just so they can have me away from my house. They went to my house, got all the guns. That was a strategy. So that day as well, they brought back the first charge. And they only brought that charge up because the new charge, both of them weak on their own, but together they felt like they could apply pressure, make me fall. So I didn't. Well, it's different. So anyway, I had an ankle bracelet on. So they arrest me during, you got 24 hours to see a judge. They give you a bond or not, but they tell you your charge. So there was this lady, I've never called a woman a bitch, but there was a bitch in there, the little clerk lady. When the judge is giving me my bond, she said, no, Your Honor, he doesn't get a bond because he's on felony release. He's a dangerous felon, And then she started naming the guns, and it just sounded so bad. Like, I want to say, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it sounded real bad. But I was like, my brain just went in overdrive. Like, actually, Your Honor, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a felon. I just started, I was not on felony release at the time. I talked my way out of that shit. She gave me a bond. So, bond out. So now I got 2 charges. So they put me in the gang division. They tried to say I was leader of a gang. All this shit, bro.
Because your association with the Mexicans?
Nah, it had nothing to do with that. I had a crew.
Okay, yeah, got it.
So I had to fight that because that's a automatic 10-year enhancement on whatever your crime is. It's like, what? And look, people are so not wise because when they get arrested, they tell them what gang they in. So they get that enhancement off the top.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, and I wasn't in the gang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I had to have a whole hearing that ate through my damn retainer, which I didn't know that's what happened, just to prove, for them to prove that I'm in the gang.
Just to get that that enhancement off. Just so people don't understand, what happens in these cases is the prosecutor, it costs them no more money to charge you with extra stuff,
100%.
but you have to defend yourself against everything. It's almost like when, multiple, like you're a military base, it's not one missile coming after me. I got 50 missiles, and if any one of them get through,
it's a wrap.
So I used to work I used to work in the county courthouse in Dallas, Lou Sterrett, and I was an intern back then. And I went to a capital murder trial, and this guy had murdered 13, 14 people. And they got him, they were charging him with 1 first-degree murder. And I actually had a conversation with the prosecutor, had a conversation with the with the judge, and they were both like, we can only stick the needle in him once. So if we use this one and we don't get him, we're just going to charge him with the next one and the next one. Because what happens is if they charge you, like in this thing with Andrew Tate, I think it's over 20 felonies, something like that. It's a good number of felonies. The thing is, they only need 2 of them to be true.
Right.
Now they're going to get you on a plea deal. Now what happens is Andrew Tate, 18 months in minimum security prison, but you got to fork over $200 million, then we'll let you go. That's how it works, because those charges cost nothing.
Prosecutor get another win.
Yes. Those charges cost nothing. The case is a win-lose. Yeah. If I can throw 30, 40, FBI loves to do wire fraud. Wire fraud always, if FBI charges, federal charges, they're always going to throw in wire fraud. You talked over the phone. Conspiracy. You talked over the phone. Conspiracy. Talked over the phone. Wire fraud. And that's what they'll do. So it's like, just so people know, and what will also happen is third party, we'll be watching this on CNN, Fox News, whatever, and we say, 20 felonies, 30 felonies, he must be guilty. Yeah. But no, it costs the prosecutor $0.00 to throw it at you.
It costs them some time to write another charge.
For sure. But it costs you have to do discovery and perform, you have to prepare a defense for all 30 charges, all 20 charges. And so that's kind of how the asymmetry.
Well, here's the thing. You don't really have to do that. So when you go through the system, you know the game, right?
Yeah.
They stack it on you so you can plea out. They try to make it scary. So for instance, with mine, it was manslaughter, and then every bullet was an ag assault endangerment. I'm like, come on. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they do it. And they always, all right, we'll just do this one. Just plea out to this, So it's just a strategy they have. Just like sales, we have strategies. They have their strategies.
I have a friend of mine right now who's convicted of a felony he did not do because they locked him in jail and they said, if you don't plead out to this, then we're going to give you this. Because he couldn't afford bond.
See, that's the problem. And this is what people don't understand. Jail is worse than prison.
Yeah.
They make the conditions horrible so you plea out. Because prison is chill. Yeah. Unless you want to, like in fucking gladiator school, you know what I'm saying? Like a violent offense. But other than that, it's chill. It's high school without girls. Yeah. You get a job, you can fuck girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really like that. But anyway, so with my situation, I had these 2 cases, and I'm like, fuck. I got that off of me. But then this is my first time dealing with this shit. So I didn't know, and I didn't have the money for like the top tier lawyer because I couldn't hustle and move the same. Yeah. So this was a mid-grade attorney, just a hardworking, good attorney. So 25,000 ran through. I'm like, he's like, all right, so that's gone. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, every call, every this. I'm like, oh shit, hell of a hustle. So anyway, I had to like pay him again, but then I had to like modify what I was doing, how I was moving, because I had an ankle bracelet on. So I had to put my people in charge of doing the work for me, like putting shit together, and they're not as good as me, right? And they're trying to skim off the top all of this shit. The money ain't the same. Bro, I'm gonna tell you some shit off camera. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I'm like the pressure's on me, right? Because I'm like, yo, I'm running out of money. I'm afraid if I put my foot on the gas, I'm gonna do something and get caught, and it's gonna be even worse. And then we hired a private investigator. I'm thinking that there's some secret indictment coming for me, because I'm like, why are they going so hard on me? Because they try to like make me plea out to 10 years, to 2 5-year sentences, right? Consecutive. Suck my dick, right? So we got an arbitration, so we moved it to another judge just so he could hear it and try to work something out. This motherfucker was like, well, that's a good deal. I mean, each one, if you did both of them, it's 20-something years. Like, this is a good deal. I'm like, the fuck out of here. 10 years and 100 years is the same to me. Yeah. I ain't doing that shit. Well, you have to come get me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, so I had put my contingency plan together I was like, fuck it, I just go to trial. And if the shit don't work out, I had a plan. You know what I mean? Like the day or two before the last day, because I'm out on bond. So fucking some shit come up and I get arrested. I'm just literally in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? But I'm not supposed to have any police contact. Yeah. So it was like $1,000 bond, post a bond. The judge like, well, you can post, but I don't know if you're gonna get out. I'm gonna see, shit, I'm not gonna not post, right? So up to this point, I've been arrested many times, but in and out. No charges, drop the charge, whatever. So this time, I never been dressed out. You know what I'm saying? It's never been that real to me. Yeah. So there's a horseshoe in Arizona. So you get in the first cell, and it's just the long process of being processed out. Never been processed out. I got processed out. They changed my clothes. I'm like, shit. So then they put you, and now what's in my mind is like, I'm not worried about that little charge. I'm worried about if I blow trial, I don't even get to see my kids before that shit.
Yeah.
I don't get to put my shit in order. And nobody can really properly, thoroughly fight a case from inside of jail because you're listening to everything you say.
Yeah,
right?
that is the point. A lot of people don't understand that. Like when you want bond, it's this belief that you can just have these meetings with your attorney. No, I don't have my cell phone. I can't find this record. I can't get on my bank. Wait a second. No, I paid for this on this day. I got to get through my bank. You can't do that.
But they're listening to your meeting with your attorney.
For sure.
And it's all them. Everything.
But which is against the law, but they'll still use it against you.
It's just hearsay.
Yeah.
Because that happened with me.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is against you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's such a fight. So there's a guy, a 2-man cell before we get housed. When you get housed, that's when you're in your crib, like where you're going to be at for the duration of time, right? So I'm in this cell with this dude, and he knew me from the streets, and he was super cool, and I didn't know him, but I had to tell him, I said, hey, bro, just stop talking to me. Just stop.
Yeah.
I'm not with this positive shit right now. Like, my mind was going somewhere dark fast, right? My mind went to like, all right, fuck it. They put me in there. I'm knocking everybody out.
Yeah.
Anybody I just say hi, I'm knocking them out. There's no logic to that, right? There's no reasoning for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's how depressed and angry and afraid that I was. You know what I'm saying? I was it was not logical, not rational, but that's where my head was at.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting down, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna pray. And I prayed. I'm not saying this is why they kind of got me out.
Had you converted to Islam at this point?
I've always been Muslim.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So just not been on my deen for a long times of my life, right? So King, roll up. What? I hugged dude, like, all right, bro, you be good. I'll call you, call me. You know what I'm saying? I get out. So I had an ankle bracelet on before that. So
some guy was saved from an ass whipping because you prayed.
I guess.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been him. It would have been once they housed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna go straight to the hole, straight up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. But look, it's a weird side of me that kind of wanted that too. Let me see if I can handle that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I had an ankle bracelet before that. So it was like a pre-trial, make sure they could detain you. So they have like a probation officer before your shit is adjudicated. And the lady liked me, like literally liked me, right?
Yeah.
And she was super cool. So she called me that Monday. She's like, I heard what happened. I was like, yeah. She said, you gonna come see me? I'm like, what's gonna happen? She said, I'm not gonna arrest you. I'm just gonna give you another ankle bracelet. I'm like, I thought about it. Cause that's when they arrest you, you come in and they arrest you.
Yeah.
I said, fuck it, I'm gonna just trust her. And I went in and she didn't arrest me. She gave me an ankle bracelet and she was like, I don't know what's gonna happen Thursday. I have court Thursday. Cause when the prosecutor found out, they're gonna remand me to custody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, it's okay, whatever. So I had to expedite my plan. And I had a girl from Cali, Karen Babakanian. She was like Kim Kardashian before I knew who Kim Kardashian was. And she came out. That was my dog. That's a good friend of mine to this day. I had my shit packed. All right, ready? Cut that shit off, do that shit, hopped in the car, came to Cali. And the guy came to the house where I was staying at with my homie. And he said, and I quote, he told my homie this, he says, tell that nigga to run and don't look back. I was like, shit, you gotta tell me twice.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get into details off camera on like everything I did. But, you know, I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And one thing that one anchor that I always had, for one, I always had like some good morals.
Yeah.
Even when I was doing dumb shit, I always had good morals. Like, I wasn't robbing people. I wasn't hurting people that didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? So I was selling a product that was illegal. That's what I was doing. That was the biggest thing on me. But not just that, being a liar, not being the most honest person with women and shit like that. So, and that's what guys got to understand. I'm gonna get back to this.
Yeah.
But when I be talking to these guys and I be telling them you gotta be honorable, like typically you're only lying to women.
Right.
But a lie is a lie.
Yeah, sure is.
It's filthy for your soul. It creates a karma train out of this world. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time I was talking to my boy, like I was just going through all kind of bad luck, right? I'm like, what the fuck is it? What am I doing in my life that's so bad? I said, I be cheating on girls. You think that's it? He's like, nah, it can't be that. But it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was. I'm lying. I'm not being an honest person. So
it bleeds into other parts of your life. No matter what you think, it definitely bleeds into other parts of your life. Is this, by the way, this is 09, somewhere around that point when you first go on the run?
Yeah.
So this is what's fascinating about this story. Yeah. It's from 09 to 2017. You become a social media influencer while still on the run from state charges.
Yeah. So let me tell you how that happened. So I did all the research you could do on being a fugitive, and manslaughter is not murder.
Yes.
Okay. Murder and shit with children is the highest tier of everything, right? They put you in an NCICS program or whatever system. So wherever you go, they're trying to find you. They're trying to track you. They scanned your retina in jail already, fingerprints, everything. So I was treading lightly, but according to my research, I could still travel.
Yeah.
According to my research, I could get a job, right? So I got a job. I'm like, all right, let's under my real name. So did that. I'm like, okay, everything's smooth. I was working as a personal trainer, and so this is like 2010. I'm working as a trainer.
You're in like Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was homeless for a minute, right? So I was sleeping at the gym. So when it's time to close, I kind of like disappear.
Yeah.
They're gone, and I can come out and hang out in my big ass crib, the gym.
Yeah.
So kept the haircut. Nobody knew anything.
Yeah.
Right. Middle of the day, I didn't have clients. I go watch a movie down the street, come back. So I did that, saved up money. Moved in with a lady that was looking for a roommate, cat lady. It was real, bro.
Yeah.
It was real. And I wish I could find her. I'm gonna go find her.
Yeah.
She has no idea I was a fugitive.
That's crazy. Do you remember all the cats?
Yeah, bro. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did that, saved up enough to move in, to get an apartment.
Yeah.
And I had got a roommate, and that shit almost put me in jail because this dude couldn't handle his woman, his girl.
Oh no.
I wake up in the middle of the night one time, she busts in my room screaming, butt naked. I'm in there with my chick. He come in there, grab her by the hair, pull her out, start beating her. I was man, stop doing that shit. I told her, get out of here, go. I hold him up. He's like, no, Mike, you don't understand. Like, nah, fuck that, bro. You can't be doing that shit. So when she's gone, I said, you need to cool out, whatever. So he walk out, go smoke a cigarette. The cops come. I'm like, fuck. Get in. I'm like, shit, bro. This is how
it goes. Yeah.
But they didn't, because he was white, and somebody said the guy's white. So
yeah.
that gave me a fuck. I was like, shit. So social media, like we always have Facebook, but Instagram had just started, right? And I'm like, it's kind of cool. I had a Facebook that I just stayed in touch with my family, right? Didn't have my full name on it or nothing like that. Never put pictures of myself. But every now and then I put a little video of my clients, you know? And then that started helping me get more clients, right? Showing their progress, like a video of the progress. I thought it was more compelling than a picture. All right, Jennifer can only do 1 pull-up, but now she's doing 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was getting me more clients.
Are your clients all in Long Beach? You get people coming from LA or
nah,
OC?
Just Long Beach.
Okay.
In the area. So then every now and then I'm getting comfortable. I put a little workout up real quick. Real quick. All right, we cool. And people really loved it. They loved my commentary, the content and stuff like that. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And it took off without me. I wasn't trying to do that because I was trying to be safe and incognito. So it started becoming a thing. And I started thinking like, well, fuck it, maybe they don't care, you know? And cops was fucking with me heavy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit is crazy.
And a lot of your new fans were cops and members of the U.S. military.
Yeah, that was like my demo, like guys.
Yeah.
So, because they all work out, and we did a lot of content for the military. Like, yo, we got y'all, we appreciate y'all. Like, me and CT did a video called Iron Marathon. I said,
love CT Fletcher.
Yeah.
I wish he was on social media more, dude. I love that dude.
We said, well, he's the best speaker I've ever heard.
Ever.
So he's gonna be speaking in my event. And
incredible.
So anyway, like we were just showing love, man. So time go on, and my life is good now. But I had a dark cloud over me because I know that it ain't all good. You know what I'm saying? So statute of limitations is 7 years. Not for that, right?
So manslaughter, there is no statute. Is that what you're saying?
There's really no statute on anything.
Okay.
It's somewhat of a myth. Yeah. But there's ways that they don't have to time stops. it's time stopped. It means it's just like ways that they can modify it and create loopholes to where they can still get you if it's meaningful to them. So, make a long story short, one day, we in Long Beach at the gym, and they're already on me. I didn't know this at the time, but now at this point, I'm basically a cop. I live like a cop, like an undercover, right? So I could surveil anywhere, and I can tell when cops is in because I know what they wear, the undercovers, right? It's so obvious, right? The khaki pants, it look like nice guy pants, but they're tactical. The nice button-up shirt, but they got the long split so they can get to their firearm, the side piece. Like, I always knew. So, and I can tell when something is out of place. So, it was a bunch of fake tough guys in my gym, like hitting the bag and shit. So I used to be like, yo, why don't y'all spar? Let's spar. So we set up like gladiator school, but nobody sparred but me and my boy Chai. So just one day we sparred, and then we was taking a break, and I took my dog out to walk him. He was a puppy at the time. And I was just cordial to everybody. So a dude walking in the gym, black dude, and he didn't really fit in. He wasn't in shape. He didn't look like a meathead. He was like, because you, in my gym in Long Beach, you're either a cop, a powerlifter, a bodybuilder, or a gangbanger. You know what I'm saying? It's very specific people that came there. Like the toughest people of all the genres. And he was just a regular dude, right? It was weird. So I said, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And he was just like kind of shook. I mean, that was weird as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So he was just there to ID me. So shortly after, I seen a sheriff's car go by, unmarked, sheriff, unmarked. Like, oh shit. This is it. So the marshal come, what's your name? I was like, you tell me.
So how'd this get bumped up to the marshals? That was one of my first questions.
The nature of the crime.
Okay.
It was one of the worst that, you know what I mean, on paper at least. And I'm not in the state where it happened.
Got it.
Yeah. So he said, what's your name? I said, you tell me. He said, I know you are. He said, look, man. He was cool, man. He said, look, man, you do a lot of good for a lot of people. Let's just get this behind you and, you know, get on with your life. I was like, all right, thank you. He was a gentleman, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
You know? But also I wasn't trying to like trip out. You got me, you know? So, and I actually was relieved, you know? Because I had that shit on me every day. Every day I get to my apartment, I could just envision when I turn the corner, they right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot to deal with every day. It killed my joy. I don't have joy to this day. Like people be like, are you happy? Like, no, but I'm good though. I'm not sad, but fuck happiness. I'm good. I get joy out of fulfilling purpose and duty, like just laughing and just it's whatever. So that was an interesting part. Like getting moved around. They put me in the worst jail you could put somebody in at first. The Twin Towers and the max security.
This is back in Arizona.
No, it's in LA.
Oh, in LA. Okay.
So first I'm in Long Beach, and they moved me to LA, and they held me as long as they could until they had to extradite me. You can't bond out in a different state. Yeah. So that shit was like fucked up. It was the most. You ever read the Book of Revelations? Yes. The Rapture. Yeah. And you read how when Michael throws you to hell, like that was I was in hell, right? Yeah. Literally. It's dark. It's these little shitty lights, barely any light, no sunlight, so you have no concept of the time. You're in there 47 and a half hours at a time, so you're in your cell. Every other day you come out for 30 minutes for shower and the phone. So I just got everybody around me their time. I stayed out because I had money, so I just buy them food and shit. I trade them for time. So I'm out all the time. Bro, it's never quiet. All day, the most ignorant shit you've ever heard. All night, when the blacks stop talking, the Mexicans start talking. Shit you just don't want to hear. It's stupid. Men that's never met each other, never even seen each other. This dude from 4th tier talking to a dude from the 2nd tier about his baby mama and this and that. Just ignorant shit, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm here for a reason, you know? So then they moved me to Wayside, and there was another jail, just like a normal, like 3. And I felt like I was free. You know what I'm saying? Just regular, just getting to move around, drink coffee, see the sun. But then they extradited me. That shit fucking sucked. So they drove me to Arizona with a bunch of dudes on this in this van that the back leans forward, so you're uncomfortable. Leaning forward, you shackled your hands to your. It was like they go overboard trying to keep us, you know. And You like, what if this motherfucker in an accident? We die. You know what I'm saying? And they're picking up people from the prison on the way. It was just whack, bro. And then it was just one point where I'm like, this fucking sucks. They stopped, let's use the restroom, and we're just lined up in broad daylight like this, and people walking by, and I'm so embarrassed. Of course, I don't know these people, but I'm like, this is your life, bro? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, if you're a correctional officer, like why, but you almost wonder, like, if that type of job selects for the type of person who used to pull the wings off of butterflies, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you just have no empathy, and so you end up taking a job like that.
Nah, I'm not even mad at him.
Okay.
Because he can't be a cop for whatever reason.
Got it.
I'm mad at me. I'm like, why am I in this situation?
Got it.
I'm lined up with these other men, and all I could think about is like, this was what slavery was like.
Yeah.
But it's white, black, Mexican, black. You know what I'm saying? It's all of us, but it's still the same thing. Like
the dehumanization.
Dehumanized, right? So I had to deal with that. And even in jail, like, they'd complain. Like, Cass would be like, man, they violating my rights. They're like, bro, shut the fuck up. You don't have rights. We in jail. Calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's innocent. Like, all right, okay, bro. You know what I'm saying? Most people in jail deserve, and I deserve to be there when I was in there. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's a place where the worst of the worst people are. Well, most people, like, they talk about, like, I lived in Dubai for a while, right? Well, UAE, Ras Al Khaimah.
Yeah.
And they talk about.
I used to live in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, my sister lives in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. Abu Dhabi's the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to Doha this summer.
I was stationed in Doha for 6 months. Nice, I was at the KAOK there, yeah.
Okay, dope. So, no crying, like, say, like, that's dope. I experienced the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? It's things that you've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, being in the military, you've seen shit that nobody will ever see. Yeah. And you don't want to see these things. You know what I'm saying? It's not for everybody.
But it's also, you know what's really frustrating is, like, when other people try to talk to me about it, and you want to have empathy for them, but they're like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. When you think you have a solution for solving crime in the ghetto, fixing the war in Ukraine, all this kind of stuff, you don't have a fundamental grasp of violence. So therefore your solution, it's like, I heard this one girl say, there would be no wars if women were in charge. I'm like, no, if you have a woman in charge, if you had a woman in charge of this place, what happens is once he invades, then somebody else has got to come.
Look, bro, if it was women, like, women are so violent. Their violence is different. Yeah. It's articulated different. It's their words. Yeah. They don't have the means to be physically imposing, but their words are fucking terrifying. You know what I'm saying? So, and they cry. So that's, press the button. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so get moved to Arizona. I looked the way I looked, and I was bigger back then. So the blacks tried to make me the spokesperson. I'm like, look, motherfucker, I am not settling into this shit. This is y'all shit. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about on the yard. You're talking about like what Wes Watson talks about. So in the yard, basically, anytime there's a problem, the problem has to be sorted out by people of the same race.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the heads of each race is all racial, and it's set up like that. The guards set it up like that.
Because the guards can't tell what you are other than your skin color. And so the guards know this is the easiest way to segregate people.
They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know? But that's just how jails are ran. Yeah. In prisons. Is on the West Coast at least, it's all racial politics, right? Yeah. And then within the race is gang shit. So it's whites, it's Mexicans, it's blacks, but when shit pop off, whites and Mexicans are together. Yeah. Against us, right? So, but anyway, I didn't want the position. I said, nah, bro, I'm good on that shit. This is your shit. But everybody came to me to resolve conflict anyway, because the heads go to the heads. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the most formidable in there, and I was a good dude, like level-headed. You know what I'm saying? And I there's a lot of shit that I didn't let happen, because I'm like, just by saying, like, bro, you want to fight this person because he called you a bitch, because you cheated at chess? You cheated. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think y'all even. I said, you want us all to be on 2 weeks, no phone, no food, no commissary? Like, is your little feelings that important? They be thinking that shit is so profound. And I was like, wow. It was sad. I'm gonna tell you the saddest part about it was like seeing adult men who mind have not developed at all, and then seeing adult men who I know they want to be better. Like, cause they'd be older than me, trying to like convince me that, like, you know, when I get out, I'm gonna just, you know, I'm like, I hear you. I know that shit ain't gonna happen. Cause these men have literally been in and out most of their lives.
Yeah.
My homie, he was the head of the Mexicans. He was 45. He got like 15 years, and he was cool with it. He's like, man, I only got 15. I was like, that's crazy that that's cool to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he did. You don't talk about that shit, but it must have been some fucked up shit for him to be excited about getting out when he's 60.
Yeah.
And chances are you're not going to get out then because you're going to get in fights, you're going to get more time. So that was my biggest concern was like, just not nobody in there, but me getting more time just because you have to fight. You know what I'm saying? But I never got in trouble.
Yeah, Wes Watson was just on Fresh and Fit, and he talked about if there's a chomo in your cell, you have to stab him, and if you don't, your people then will stab you.
Yeah, you got to do. Look, jail, if you're not brave, jail will make you brave. It'll make you a badass, like, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to get rolled out, or you're going to die or get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some fucked up shit. But I've even seen fucked up shit by guards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. But look, this is what I learned too. I carry myself a certain way. I don't carry myself like a tough guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a tough guy. But I'll fuck anything up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trained and I got the mentality to not lose. You know what I'm saying? Not die. To kill me is going to take a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, and they felt me in there because I wasn't no bad dude. So you have guys that are trying to intimidate guys, they get tested. You got guys that are just timid, they get taken advantage of. So it's a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah.
To not really get in trouble, to not really be in the middle of dumb shit. I'm not trying to prove shit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I let it be known. I don't give a fuck about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I fed, like my roomie, my cellie was white. Black, racists can't feed each other. I fed them. You know what I'm saying? So they come to me to make a spread. I had all the shit. And I said, make me two and make him two. He like, okay. But the reason I did it, because my first night in there, me and him talked all night. He was cool as shit. And then in the morning, the Woods had a meeting.
Guys, they're called Peckerwoods, and that's why they're called Woods. That's normal white people who are not part of Aryan Nation.
Yeah, Woods, essays, and kinfolk.
Yeah.
So he came back and told me, like, all right, the meeting was about you. I was like, yeah. I said, okay. He said, yeah, they're going to jump you the first fight. I said, I ain't worried about that shit. And I really wasn't.
Yeah.
It's weird. I got a weird thing in my brain. I like that kind of shit. Like, try. I want to see what I could do. You know what I'm saying? Nothing ever happened, though. But, you know, I carry myself with respect. I learned a lot about myself and about the world in there. You know what I mean? And one thing I do know is, like, and one thing that's part of my purpose is protecting people. People who ain't strong enough to protect themselves, you know? No real reason why. Like, people can't do nothing for me.
Yeah.
But I like sticking up for people. I like when people getting bullied, metaphorically speaking and literally, I like to, hey, say that. What was that?
Yeah.
I like to get in front of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like that. I don't like seeing strong people leaning on weaker people.
Right.
It's just not cool. So, and I'm like, I'm strong as shit. So let me, that's the least I could do. That's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so did that, bonded out. I'm sorry I made that story so long.
No, it's fine, man.
Bonded out. Now this time the bond was $500,000.
Okay.
500,000. So
you got to put up 50.
50,000.
Yeah.
So did it, had collateral, all of that shit. And this time they gave me a big ass GPS bracelet.
You said you couldn't cut this one off.
Nah, it's metal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't at that point anyway. I was like, fuck, I'm popular. They'll find me easy.
Yeah.
Probably could have, but I wasn't going to.
Just out of curiosity, you're arrested. What are you doing on YouTube and IG at that point? Like, how big are you?
Big. I was popping.
Like over 1 million at that point?
No. But I was popping though.
Okay.
I was popping.
You're growing pretty quick.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's inflation. Like a mil today doesn't
It's
say
not what
a million in like 2015. That meant something. That was huge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was crazy. Like the guards knew me. Everybody knew me. So
yeah.
So I bond out. I didn't tell this to nobody but the closest people to me. And I kept doing my content. I could show you YouTube videos where I was wearing like pants and shit to hide it, and I can point it, you can see it kind of sticking out.
Yeah.
But I never said nothing. I proceeded with my life as if none of that shit was happening.
Yeah.
Because that's always been my defense mechanism, is to not give any oxygen to that negativity.
Yeah.
Right? And proceed doing the right things. And look, I made so much money off like my programs and ebooks. I started writing them in jail.
Yeah.
Because I had time to sit down and write them. You know what I'm saying? So like I was making money in jail, like good money, like better money than I was making before jail. You know what I mean? With my digital assets. So a lot of good came out of it. So much good came out of it. The time that I was a fugitive was a grace period for me, right? Not for anybody else, but for me.
Yeah.
To determine whether I'm a good person or a bad person, because I'm sitting there like when you in jail, bro, that shit real. You can't just open that door.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, fuck, this shit is so real. Because nobody envisions themselves in that situation.
Right.
It's like, I'll never happen to me. But it happened to me because of me. Nobody else, right? So I looked at it like, all right, what you gonna do? It's real right now. What you gonna do? And I had many times that tested me. And like my father said, characters developed in those the worst times.
Yeah.
And I had those times where I wanted to like just do shit that is not of character, and it would have fucked my life up. But that emotional satisfaction it overtakes logic and reason. But I never allowed it, you know. I fought off depression. I fought off like all of the negative things that one would encounter in a situation like that didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't allow it. I prevented it from happening to me. I'm immune to the shit, right? I'm immune to anything negative. And that's just really how the perspective that I gained during that time. And yeah, they kept, the deals kept getting better and better and better, to where they reclassified it again from manslaughter to ag assault.
Yeah.
And then, but they still had like a little mandatory prison. And I said, how can we get that off? And he said, you can't, because it has a dangerous tag attached to it. Yeah. I said, how can we get that off? He said, you can't. I said, so if that wasn't there, is prison mandatory? He said, no. I said, can you ask him? Just ask the prosecutor? He's like, okay. He asked him, they took it off. I was like, fuck.
Because you were going to plea.
Yeah. I said, I'll take a plea.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about felony. I don't need a job. And he wanted to keep fighting it. And I believed in his confidence, but that shit was stressing me out.
Of course.
I wanted to get this shit over with. So took the plea. When I got to court for the sentencing, the judge has to accept it. She kicked that shit out. She said, Mr. King, and this is why I'm an outlaw. Yeah. To the day I die. Because if I would have just abided by their shit when they arrested me, you would not have met me.
Yes.
I'd probably be getting out of prison right now, right? If I ain't getting in trouble. So the fact that I took matters into my own hand, like, nah, I'm good. And I left. When they came and got me, this is what she said. She said, Mr. King, if this was being adjudicated closer to the time that this happened, you'd be going to prison right now. But all this time has passed by. The court see that you're not a criminal. Get out of my courtroom. So my way worked. I trust myself.
That's incredible, yeah.
I trust myself. And on my side was like, you have the defense and you have the state on one side. Defense is just your family and the defendant. The state, a bunch of cops. On my side was the family defendant and cops. Yeah. Cops speaking on behalf. High level guys. You know what I'm saying? So that was a little bit of an anomaly. And I've never worked with cops or no shit like that ever. You know what I'm saying? Nobody respects a snitch. Yeah. Everybody respects a person that's a stand-up guy. Yeah. Regardless. Cop or criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, by the way, even in, so I used to work in military intelligence, even if someone betrays their country and they come to your country.
You don't respect them. You use them.
But they never become part of your complex, if that makes any sense. Like a guy will come over to the U.S., but he never becomes a part of our intelligence community. Right. He's always there for information. Right. And maybe as a consultant, but he never, because they say once a spy, always a spy, right? Oh, yeah. So it is kind of the same situation.
You can't trust a person like that. My nephews, they speak fluent Arabic and the good Arabic, like not slang. They speak both. So they get top dollar in the military because we, like, military will employ Arabic-speaking Arabs from those countries, but they don't pay them as much as Americans that speak the language because it's more valuable. Yeah. So yeah,
that's crazy, man. That's crazy. All right, so that happens, and so when you get out, you're still blowing up. For a content creator who's watching right now, what was an inflection point where you noticed that you were blowing up, where you knew this was a real thing? Because obviously you're training people, that's an income. Yeah. But now you're using this to train more people. When you're in jail, you you write out ebooks. So now you're scaling your business. Somebody must have probably given you that idea.
Yeah.
Where you have a website now.
Yeah.
So what is the inflection point where you go from one, you're just training one guy at a time, into where you scale out?
Okay, good question. So I stopped training people around 2013.
Okay.
Because I was making a lot of money on YouTube. I started selling products like my own supplements, just one product at first, and then started adding on, and I had sponsorships. So back then I was probably making about 30, 40 grand a month. Yeah. Right. And, so I stopped training, and I said, only way I would train somebody if it was like 1,500, 2,000. Yeah. You know, we just shoot a video, whatever, one time. So that I already stopped doing that because it's impossible to get successful or rich training people.
You're trading your time for money.
Yeah. So when I was in jail, so shout out to Natalie. She's out here right now. I'm gonna see her later tonight and tomorrow, but that's my dog. That's my heart. She's my business partner. I've been on her for years. She's just a solid person. So she kept trying to get me she ran MikeRashid.com, but she was like, you need to do the ebooks, digital. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. But I was always too busy. Yeah. But when I was in jail, I had time. Yeah. So I started writing them, mail it out. They type it up, put the PDF, put the pictures, and the first one I made like 10 grand in a week. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me keep writing this shit. Yeah. So I kept writing them. So that kept me busy. So that was one inflection right there. Over time, things kept getting better because my very first supplement company just kept becoming more and more successful. I did peak though with that because I didn't have, I had a business partner and he didn't have the same like growth mindset that I did. Yeah. He lived in South Carolina. So you balling with a $300,000 house. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? So I'm like, bro, we got to do this. We got to do that. And we just weren't aligned. So I sold my half. And at the time, me and my boy Sean and Mark, we started Ambrosia. And, you know, it was just a passion project. So, but I said, I'm going to go all in with Ambrosia. So that's what I did. Moved back to California. And California just reinvigorated my hustle as well. Because everybody getting it. All the money's in Cali, bro. It's young guys getting it. You know what I'm saying? So I put my foot on the gas there, focused on that. So the supplement company started doing better and better. So that was an inflection point. And then like, you know, moved to now, like last year I did my first like online coaching, coaching trainers to scale their business. So I made
Are you using Kajabi? Like what platform?
Nah. So this is what I did. I did a 5-day course. Okay. Called the Rich Trainer Challenge. Not a course, a 5-day challenge. So which they paid $300, 200 general admission, 300 VIP. Okay. You get a Zoom link. Everybody did VIP. They get an extra hour and some Q&A. And they just want access, right? And I'm teaching them how to stop training in the gym, how to do this shit online. Yeah. Not high level though, mid level. Yeah. And then day 4 and 5, I'm pitching them into a $25,000 mentorship. Okay. So I closed a bunch of people into that. I didn't know that was gonna work because I never sold anything that high, but it was so easy. I'm like, this is crazy. So, but my people getting value. Like it's me and I got one of my boys who actually scaled and sold his coaching business. Shout out to my boy Chris. And we just hitting them over the head with heat. Like they're making money. Like they're not even that great of shape, some of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all online.
You're setting them up. You're giving them a template on how for them to build their own fitness business.
Right, exactly. Because it's not rocket science, but I know how to do it because I've been doing it for so long. Yeah. I didn't say this. So Alpha Shred, you didn't mention that on there. So I developed an app and it's my online training platform. Okay. So, you know, I have about 4,000, like almost 4,500 online clients. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't even push it. You know what I mean? So if I put my foot on the gas, I could get to 5,000, 10,000, whatever. But I really like this high level stuff. So, but this is all trained. This is people to work out. They got the app, they get the nutrition, all of that high level shit for that. So that's like the biggest, you know, like just cash flow, right? But that's not a legacy play. So last year we sold like 50% of the business of Ambrosia. That was a nice check, you know. And we're growing so fast now with this VC firm on board, right? So the next bite at the apple is going to be even bigger, and we're going to sell at 100 million.
So the VC firm is now, you're getting to use their resources also. And they're the ones who bought 50%. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
And they're awesome people, bro. Just great people. So we learned so much from. I was just. They have a guy, one of their sales guys. He spent 2 days with me yesterday. I'm just learning all these different tactics because my marketing is really good, right?
Yeah.
It's just come from the heart. But there's certain testing these hooks and this kind of hook and this message, whatever. So adding a better structure and system to the magic is gonna, is gonna really like enhance everything. So, and I never had that before. So this is high level shit that we're bringing on board. So. It's always, bro, like every month shit is better, like literally, but she's gonna get crazy now with the the mentorship. So I'm doing an event in September, called the Sacred Society, and listen,
I saw Wes is coming out. We're talking about the one in Miami. Yeah, right. You guys are out going on a boat. Spofford, Eric Spofford, he was just here a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
too. So it's a 3-day event. It's a 2-day event, but there's a general admission VIP and an ultra VIP. The ultra VIP people, they're coming on a yacht with us, pitch ideas. I'm gonna audit your business. Like, we're gonna go get into the shit, right? And like, I've helped people level up with just common sense. You know what I'm saying? One thing about myself is, bro, I'm just a thinker, and I like solving issues and looking at things. I'm gonna look at shit way different than how. Like, you'll look at shit like different than me. Yeah. We could probably benefit each other. You know what I'm saying? So I do that for them. So, and I love doing it. I love seeing the results. Yeah. And them excited about it. So, but it's going to be more than just that. So within the Sacred Society, you're going to be able to make money however, right? I got people that teach how to do credit repair, Airbnb arbitrage, Turo. Like, I got a thriving Turo business myself. Yeah. Like, you name it, right? And look, that's something that anybody can do and scale. Yeah. I don't post it because it doesn't have anything to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So, but we teach, you can pick whatever you want once you're in the mentorship, right? But my bread and butter, what I'm really bringing the value to people, with people, is to help them grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and then the finance is going to come. When you solid like that, the money just comes, it flows. So, and just changing your mindset and your perspective. It's all about perspective. Yeah, that's everyone's superpower. I have a thing that I always say: only good things happen to me. There's not one thing that anybody can ever point out in my life that was bad. I could tell you how it was good, that was excellent for me, and I'm appreciative of that. You know what I mean? So, but my perspective won't allow negative things to happen to me.
One thing you said, Justin Waller said the same thing too. He sets up. He's in construction. And when he hires people, one of the things he looks for is people who aren't snake bit. And what he means by that is constantly unlucky. There's always something that goes wrong. And you'll notice that when you date a woman and there's always an issue with the ex and the money this and the dog with the hip dysplasia and I got to go get surgery for this. And there's always something wrong. And like, I've noticed the same thing where it's like the victim mentality now becomes your, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but like you'll notice some people are just naturally unlucky.
Yeah. They're unlucky legitimately, just like a fat person. They're fat legitimately. They're good at being.
It's an excuse. It really is an excuse.
You're good at being undisciplined. Yeah. You're good at overindulgence, right? Yeah. Look, I abstain from food every Wednesday. Tuesday night to Wednesday night, I don't eat. I've been doing this since March of 2022, right? It just helps me. If I can abstain from food, and I do abstain from women from time to time. Yeah. I can do anything, right? When you have control over what you put in your body, like the food you eat, because that kills everybody, right? That's a real pathway to mastery, and that's what I'm all about. I think this world would be such a more pleasant place if people were tapped into self-mastery and really understanding themselves and just growing in all of these different ways. Yeah. But no one is, and therefore you have people who are always unlucky. Yeah. That's in the matter of fact, Justin, I like him a lot. Yeah. I fuck with him. Yeah. I never met him, but I fuck with him. Yeah. But 48 Laws of Power, that's one of the chapters. Avoid the unlucky and the unhappy. That's a powerful one. It's real. You don't, Look, even my mother, when she started complaining, like, mommy, stop. I don't want to hear that. You could have did this. Yeah. Look at it like this. So I always spin people back to something positive.
Well, it's that, and it's also if you got cheated on by your girlfriend and you go on social media and talk about it, like you could have just not talked about it, and now everyone knows this, and now they're going to make up stories in their head why you did something wrong, and that's why you got cheated. And that's why I'm like, when you hear, even if you are unlucky, don't share that.
I would never share anything about any of my personal life on social media. When people do, I'm like, I've had friends, I'm like, bro, take that shit down. Take that shit down. Him and his baby mother. I'm like, bro, that's your baby mother. Find out a way to fix that shit, bro. Because y'all stuck together, motherfucker. My baby mother lives with me. My baby mother is one of my best friends. You know what I mean? She lives in my house. We raise our daughter together. You know, we're not together, so we figure out this is the best case scenario. You know, I don't understand this culture where everybody hate their exes and all of this stuff. You know, matter of fact, speaking of exes, I had a girl that said she was my ex, Toy. And shout out to her. Beautiful woman, sexy as hell. Very good qualities, but she got some traumas, and I think that's preventing her from like that real peace and with a man, and you know. And listen, I don't know all of her background, but a lot of women have been like fucked over so much to where they become kind of like callous and not real receptive to good-hearted people. Yeah, you know. And when it doesn't work out, it's like, fuck you. It's like, okay.
You have to remind the girls when in this current relationship, and I mean in previous ones, is that like those things that happen with other guys, like I'm not going to pay for those things that happen first off. And then the other thing is like, let's go back the last few months. How many times, number one, have I ever lied to you? Correct. And how many times have I been wrong when I told you something was going to happen? Let's look at, and then it's like this negativity will come out and like, hey, do you remember the last 8 months where I was always honest with you and I told you the truth? At some point, rationality has to outweigh your emotions. Correct. And a lot of times, one of the problems is with women, and often very, very attractive women, is that they feel like they have the right to be emotional because they're pretty and no one ever told them to not. And the rest of us, like the rest of us have to fly the military missions and put out the fires and lift the weights and build the buildings. Like we don't have the privilege of being able to believe in those things or to make ourselves a victim because we have to go to work the next day. So that's one of the issues.
You said, you speaking like you was in a car ride with me over here. Yeah. I'm telling Sarah, I said, listen, I like to fix things. Yeah. And last week she told me like, sometimes you can't try to logic my emotion. Like, stop saying that. But I'm a woman. I said, stop saying that. Men and women have to be rational. You have to be practical. You have to move with intelligence and logic. You keep telling yourself that, that's a cop-out, right? And I can't subscribe to that. I can't be in a situation like that. I can't allow you to behave like that because it's not okay. Nothing good comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was just having this conversation. Yeah. But you're right, bro.
It's just like, for me, if we have this desire to have more attractive women be attracted to us, have, like, for instance, the fact that I have my number one mentors in my phone and I can just call them whenever I want, that's incredible. Yeah. But I had to do things rationally and make moves in order to make that happen. Right. And there's no way I can emotion my way out of it. And if it didn't work, like there's a couple of huge social media influencers right now, and I've asked them to come on my show, and it's very obvious to me. It's like, you're not big enough. They're not saying it, but they're like, you're not big enough for me to come on your show. Yeah. And someday I probably will be, and I'll never hold it against them when that happens. But I'm never going to be like upset about it. And I think that's one of the big issues that a lot of people have is like, they think that I don't have the privilege of thinking that, like when women are on these shows and they're like, I'm a 10. And I'm like, I don't have the privilege of saying I'm a 10. And I don't have the privilege of saying I have $100 million. And I have the privilege to say I can bench press 600 pounds. The world actually tells me what I can do. And that's the only thing, the only thing I can go by. And here's the other part. The world constantly telling me no, I can't lift this weight. This girl isn't interested in me and I can't afford this car. That is literally the weight I'm deadlifting every day to get stronger. The world telling me no.
You push back against it.
Correct. And if you're pretty enough, and if you're a good enough basketball player, or if you're a big enough actor, or if you're a big enough social media celebrity or whatever, a lot of times the world never tells you no. I have some friends of mine, they come move out here, they're billionaires, they're Fortune 500 CEOs or whatever, and they'll party just like the rest of us. And you see the people that are surrounding them and they all just say yes to everything. And I always have trouble being friends with these guys. I always have a conversation with them. I'm like, hey, just let you know, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm never going to ask you for money. I don't want your girl. I'm never going to ask you for shit. But there's always these guys around them that are just saying yes, 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 yes. Right. And I remember One time I was in the 19th Air Refueling Group back in Warner Robins, Georgia, and there was this 4-star general coming to visit the unit, and we swept every part of the fucking unit in the squadron, pushed all the dirty shit into the closet. And I was thinking to myself, dude, if I was a 4-star general, I wouldn't know shit about the military. Because everywhere I go, everything's spick and span. Everyone's telling me what I want to hear. Right. Man, when I tell my the other guys I work with, you tell me when I fuck up. With everything, even with my girl, with what I post on social media.
100%.
You tell me. You tell me when I fuck up. I will never punish you for telling me when I fuck up.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a thing that I say to my people, like, yo, if you don't tell me if I'm out of pocket, you don't love me. Yeah, and fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Look, I got a confession. Yeah. So I had no desire to even listen to Rollo. Yeah. Right. Because I felt like what he did was real cheap. Sure. And like, you better than that, bro. I could tell you're smarter than that, right? And I just see the tactics, right? Now, and then when I seen the debate with Sneeko, I was like, what is happening, right? I was like, yeah, this guy's, I just kind of like wrote him off. But then I started listening to some of your stuff, and I was like, yo, this is a quality dude right here, right? And then you and him, y'all are tight, right? So it made me like, it softened me up, I gotta be honest, to Rollo, right? To listen to him and check him out. And I was like, okay. And I did it, you were the gateway, you know what I mean? Because you're a quality person, bro. And I could see that shit. I saw it through the content. I was like, yo, this dude is dope. He's really dope, really intelligent. So I really rock with that. And I love people like that. I gravitate to dope people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if I do content with somebody, it's just because I like them. Yeah. It has nothing to do with what they...
Yeah, dude, I'm the same way.
I don't give a shit. Yeah. I really don't care.
You know what the other thing is? There's two people, I'll tell you off camera, you know one of them. Well, you probably know both of them. One of them was not that big. The other one was pretty big. And the first one said, hey, can I do a collab with you? And the second one said, no, I'm not really feeling that. It's not going to work. The second one, you can probably figure it out, he's 10 times bigger now. And the first one's like, hey, can we collab? And he's like, no, I'm not fucking with you. Yeah. I've done 22 podcasts in the last 4 weeks, other people's podcasts, and about a third of them have no subscribers. Yeah. And one of those podcasts, I guarantee you, they'll be bigger than me. Yeah, they're going to blow up and they're going to be bigger than me. Sure. I will never have anyone say, Michael Sartain would not do my podcast because I wasn't big enough. I will never have anybody say that. So that was the thing that I remember. And the other thing is like, man, it's so hard to grow on these platforms now sometimes, especially if you just want to tell the truth and you don't do crazy shit where you're trying to start beefs with people. It is really hard to start on these platforms. So I try to give people as much game as I can from the stuff that I learned because Wes Watson came on my podcast. Right. The other thing is, and I really appreciate what you just said. I love what Wes does, and I love listening to Myron and Fresh. So I connected them, and you saw Wes was on Fresh and Fit on the 19th. I connected them. And I thought Bilzerian had a really cool story, and I thought Myron was a great way to get that story out to a lot of other people. So I connected Bilzerian. I connected Bilzerian. I was sitting I'm sitting right behind Dan during that interview. Okay. And so that was one of the things that I like to do. Same thing with Rollo. Rollo's connecting me. I'm interviewing Robert Kiyosaki on Wednesday because Rollo introduced me to him. I think the situation with Rollo is like, it's one of the things where I am a natural debater. I grew up as a debater, so I never take anything personal, and it never gets personal with me, which is also why I don't have 1 million subs. I only have 50,000. But the thing with Rollo is like he built this thing, and then anyone who attacks this thing, he just attacks back sometimes because he wrote these 5 books. And that's the position that he comes from. He puts so much work into that if he feels, and you didn't attack him obviously, but like other people do, and then that's just kind of the mode he gets in to like protect this whole thing.
So no, I understand that. I understand that. I get it. Because when I first started blowing up in fitness, the fitness guys try to like, no, you can't listen to him. Look, they thought I was on steroids. Yeah. I took steroids in 2015. Yeah. For 2 years. Yeah. Right. And then I stopped. And then now I'm on HRT. Me too. Yeah. So, but all these, I look my best without it, right? Yeah. But they was saying it, you know what I'm saying? They was going so hard, right? And I was strong. It's like, look, bro, if I try hard enough, I'm gonna be able to do this shit. So I'm gonna keep going, you know what I'm saying? And I just got a different mentality. So I understand when people will feel somewhat threatened in their space, right? Yeah. I'm not here for nobody's space. Yeah. I'm just doing me, right? And just like with the fitness, the little assholes who was like butthurt at first, I was not even aware of you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Doing me. And no disrespect to Rollo, but I wasn't aware of him at all. Sure. So, and I wasn't attacking the red pill. Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing, right? I never heard of that until reading those comments.
Yeah.
Even before leading up to going on Fresh and Fit, I didn't know red pill. You know what I'm saying? And people would be like, "Oh, he's using red pill." Like, no, this is normal shit that I think, right? So, but there's no disrespect. You know, I like to fight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and you know, it's not a good fight all the time. So, but I also like to have rational discussions.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm being attacked, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's make it a fair fight, right?
You saw that Dr. Goetz who got into a discussion with Joe Rogan over Twitter, and Elon Musk jumped in and had to do with the vaccines. Hotez, sorry, I said his name wrong. And he's now posting articles explaining why he shouldn't do a debate.
No one's going to listen to that.
It's so insane to me. Like, if you completely agree with his side of the argument, you should want him. Because the thing is, tell me the last time Joe Rogan attacked someone on his podcast. He has people on there all the time he doesn't agree with. No one's going to attack him. You saw me, and I'm one of the biggest fans of Joe Rogan. You saw me when I was on with Fresh and Fit and Sneeko and Destiny. I didn't attack Destiny. In fact, when they came for Destiny and started calling him names, I stood up for him in that when they were doing that, because that's not the point of this. The point is in the end for us to help each other. Right. And so that was the whole thing that really bothered me. The reason why I believe, like, you should ask yourself, if you can't have a normal debate about your point of view, then there's an issue. If somebody talks about stuff, this is why I had the flat earthers on here. We're buddies now. I'm going to a flat Earth convention in October. I'm bringing a bunch of playmates to the two of the playmates I'm bringing believe the Earth is flat. I'm bringing them. We're going to show up. I'm going to come up there. They're going to throw bananas at me. I'm so excited, bro. I don't care.
I love that. See, with the flat Earth thing, it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's round or flat. We on it. Yeah. We're here. You know what I mean? But it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I love the discussion. It is great.
So my thing on that is, like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I have no. I would never. I am not going to learn what you know.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's other shit I want to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I do spend a good amount of time learning shit that has nothing to do with how I make money.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I have an inquisitive mind.
For sure.
But that I'm not interested in.
Okay, I have something. So a lot of entrepreneurs watch the show, and there's something that would probably be real helpful for them. For me, the 3 pillars that I'm trying to build as far as revenue is concerned is organic. You've got that sewed up, obviously. You got a mill 5 on 2 platforms there. I haven't looked on TikTok. I'm sure you're killing it there too, right? So there's that situation. Then you've got sales, so you got paid. And I actually saw for the situation you were doing for Sacred Society, are you running ads for that? Do you have an ads team, or you don't do anything like that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So very beginning stages.
Okay.
Right. So this is what happened. So I said, all right, I'll do a general admission VIP, general admission 500, VIP $2,000. When I opened it up, it was just coming in, and it was mostly all VIP. So I said, all right, let me stop it.
Yeah.
Let me modify things and different venue, at a higher tier, right? So that one, I don't know if I'm going to do ads for it. I don't think I need to.
Well, what about the other thing? For the supplement company, you're running ads. Mm-hmm. Do you have a company you go through? How do you go through?
We had a company. Listen, I'm weird, bro.
Yeah.
So we hired them, but they end up just kind of managing our ads because we do a good job. Like, all right, so I'm making a ton of money on TikTok.
Yeah.
A lot, right? Because my ads are cheap as shit.
Yeah.
Because they're different. They're long, 2 minutes and shit like that. Nobody's doing that. So we pay very little, and the conversion is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a very unique thing on TikTok, right? So I always do shit. I don't study the market and do what they do, even though that works.
Yeah.
I kind of make it harder on myself, but I create a lane. But then when I go and come back, and I look at the systems and bring that on top of the magic that I got, it grows it even crazier. So I'm in that stage right now with Ambrosia. I focus on the direct-to-consumer stuff.
Okay.
And, that's, my average cart order is $80.
Yeah.
And I do $800,000 a month.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. All right. Yeah. So you do paid. And then the last thing I would ask you is do you do any affiliate stuff?
Like, I have a few ambassadors.
Okay.
But right now, I'm about to bring on a heavy hitter.
Okay.
I do have a heavy hitter, Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
But we're working out a partnership situation with him.
Okay.
Right. But and look, that wasn't even a business thing. That was it's crazy how life is, man. Me and him used to be neighbors in Miami.
Wow.
Didn't know. I knew we were neighbors because we had the same barber. right? And he told me, yo, Kev live over there. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the next building. I didn't think he knew who I was though, but he did. And it's funny because he told me, because we hang out now, he's like, nah, bro, a lot of people know who you are. They just don't follow you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So after his last time in prison, he was like, I gotta get my mind, my body right. So he started working out. And he happened to see the brand one day. He was like, man, this is beautiful. Like, and see, me and him are very similar, you know, and he loved the lore of it, the name of it, you know what I'm saying? Ambrosia means food for the gods, right? Yeah. He knew that, you know, so when he came down for the first time, he was buying the product, loving it, and his manager reached out, like, yo, Kev loved the product, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, let's send him some shit. He came down, we did a podcast, we hung out, and we just really vibed out, you know what I'm saying? He's a good dude, man, and I went to one of his shows, and then went backstage after the show just to, like, you know, give him his flowers. And, you know, he was like still turned on, like performing backstage for everybody. And I was like, nah, that's not it. So me and Shorty, we left. Then I hit him the next day. I just sent him a voice message like, look, bro, I think that after you get off stage, have your people clear out a room for you just to sit in silence for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to make that transition, because everybody's there because of you. You know what I'm saying? And you still working. And it looked uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable back there. You know what I mean? And I felt like you uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I said, sit in your glory, bro. Like you earned, that's a lot of work, them shows. That's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
And people don't realize it when you run a business, like my business, Ambrosia, bro, my sales are crazy, right? Because I told you just the direct to consumer.
Yeah.
My wholesale and all that shit is 4 or 5 times bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Direct to consumer is the hard shit. Me on social media, yo, buy my shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm employing a lot of people. It's a big machine going. So that's the same with Kevin Gates. Him as a rapper is a big business. I've seen it. I'm like, this is crazy. All of this for this one person, but all of these people got jobs and good lives and have fun because of this one person. Yeah. So, bro, you owe yourself 5 minutes at least after a show to just sit and do nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he employed that strategy. And then one night, he called me on FaceTime. We out hanging out. He's like, bro, he started crying, like joyful tears. Yeah. He's like, man, that shit worked so good for me, man. I'm so glad you told me that. And I love him for that. I love him for being, you know, a person he walk in his room, you feel him. Yeah. He's a powerful energy, right? But with that power, he can be vulnerable and tell you like, bro, I'm crying because I love you. You know what I'm saying? What you told me helped me. Like, men don't do that these days. You know what I mean? Because what you have is pseudo strong guys. Yes. You're not strong because you can't be vulnerable. That's incredible. Yeah.
Well, as soon as we did 400,000 a month with my company. I hit up Bradley. I told Dan Fleischman. I hit up Ryan Stewman. I hit up Wes and some other guys, and I was like, so much stuff I learned from you. That's the reason why we did this. Right. And you know, Wes did 2.6 million last month, 90% profit. Crazy. Wes Watson is doing like NFL QB1 money right now.
Murdering shit.
It is crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, dude.
He's the outlaw. I love it.
He's great.
I love when the outlaws win.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's where the world's going to. Yeah. You know? Look, Elon Musk about to want to get in a boxing match.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Like, and Elon is a bad boy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the richest man is a tech guy. He's an engineer. It's not a banker. You know what I'm saying? There's a paradigm shift. Think about Wes Watson just made $3 million in a month. Yeah. Mostly profit. Legal money. You feel me? Think about what's happening, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The world is changing, right? And we're part of that change. We're in it. We're amongst it. We're witnessing it. We're changing it, and we got to keep fucking going. So when you say like, "Oh, I may not have the biggest following," fuck all of that shit. Yeah. It's not about the size. It's the impact, the quality. Like, think about this, like a star, right? Stars are like people. They start out weak and dim. They grow strong as they get older and powerful and fucking just brazen and just mighty, and then they start getting older. They get smaller, but more dense, more heavy. That's quality. And it's not about the length, you know, the width. It's about the depth. You know what I'm saying? You have the depth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, bro, what you're doing is, I don't know the size of everything because I don't look at everything, But as far as I see it, you're the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just stay true to that. That's it.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Double down on you and where your heart is at. That's it. That's people resonate with that, bro.
Dude, yeah, I've definitely seen it. It's always surprising to me when I go out with someone who is way more famous than me. I'll be in LA and I'll throw in an industry event and people will come up and ask me to take pictures with me, and they don't, like, I'm with Lindsay Palis or someone like that. And I'm like, this girl has 10 million followers. How do you not know who this is? You know, that happens to me sometimes, and I'm always stunned. Or in an airport in some city I don't live in, and they're like, dude, I watch your podcast, and like they're from London. I'm like, you watch my podcast? You live in London, dude? That's crazy.
Think about it. You're an interesting fucking guy. Remember I told you I said I like how you roll.
Yeah,
I love that. Women, look. When I go out, my ratios is like me and my homie and like 6-7 girls.
Yes, we were going to talk about
in my section. One time, like one of my little homies, he wanted to get a section with me, right? I said, all right, yeah, get it, let's do it. I get there late. At the front, they're like, well, Mike Rashid table is full. I'm like, okay. So I go in there. I look. He got a bunch of dudes in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah. So we just get another section over here. Me, my boy 19 Keys, and just beautiful, dope,
yes, of course,
cool chicks. And we had a ball.
Yeah.
And we just left that early and just went and did hookah and hung out. You know what I'm saying? That's my vibe. I love the companionship of women. It ain't even sexual, you know, just hanging out, talking, like, what's up? Like, you know, I love it all. And I love giving them an example of like true masculinity.
Yes.
You know? Because it's fucked up out there. It's fucked up out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, my ratio's got to be of that nature. But women like yours, but women are not going to be around you if you're a creep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be a good dude. Women are powerful.
So let's talk about this. You said something that I resonate with is if I go out, I prefer to have 7 or 8 women with me.
Yeah.
And maybe like 1 or 2 guy friends.
Right.
In fact, it got to a point where it's actually a problem where I had a buddy of mine, he's a TV producer, huge TV show. And he was asking me, say, hey man, let's go have dinner somewhere. And I was like, are the girls coming? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, but we have to have 25 girls with us in order to go to dinner.
Right.
Like you're with 400. And then I was just like, dude, you got to stop doing this. It's like every time I went out, I had to have girls. And I finally got to the point where I got to stop doing this. But the thing was, I love, if I'm going to do a social situation, if I'm playing basketball, it's totally different. If I'm watching football, it's different. But if I'm going out to a club, I'd prefer to have 20 women with me.
Right.
And you get that because I'm not trying to sleep with all of them, but the concept that I think a lot of guys don't understand is that women are always introducing me to women. It was 4 girls who introduced me to the girl I'm dating now at a bikini competition where I was hosting. It was a world championship bikini competition. She was one of the finalists. And I was only there because the girl who previously won was my friend and recommended that I become the host. And so it's women who introduce me to women who introduce me to more women who get people on my podcast, reach out to people for me, get me invited to everything.
Yeah.
But guys don't understand that they're like, you're friends with women, so you're a simp. And I'm like, no, women don't put me in the friend zone. That's something totally different.
Right,
but I feel like you grasped this concept.
Yeah. That word simp is a weird word,
isn't it?
You know, but it's, you know, I don't want to have an adversarial relationship with women.
Yes.
And I don't, you know. I could recognize when people fucked up. And when women in my life, friend or something romantic, when they're off, I try to correct them. You know what I mean? With care. I try to communicate in a way that they will receive it. So my last relationship that I ended last year, one of the things that I wanted to do, I try to learn from every situation, right? And I was like, you know what? We're not together because of communication. Even though I think I'm a good communicator, I could be better, right? And, you know, I just came to the realization that language is an inferior means of communication.
Yes.
The fact that there's different languages tells you that, right?
It's an imperfect, very imperfect form of communication.
Even when we speak the same language, there's times that a person cannot properly articulate what's in his mind or in his heart. Even me. And I think I'm a good communicator. I'm like, damn, I'm not nailing this right now. So you think about, like, I don't know if you ever taken an IQ test. I thought about this taking one, right? And I'm like, damn, some of these requires no language for me to think these thoughts.
The shapes.
Exactly, right? So, and then, you know, a child that doesn't know how to speak yet, they're doing a lot of communication. Animals communicate, right? So part of my fast was intentional every Wednesday, and sacrifice the food to be a better communicator, just to being more intentional about it. Like when you put something there, it makes it more real. So not just me being able to articulate better, but me being able to receive information better and hear you for real. And sometimes, because women do not answer direct, they're not binary like men. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, it's cubism. Is abstract art.
Yes,
you know
abstract art. Getting it. That's really funny.
Exactly. And I'm all right with that because I'm not gay. I don't want a guy. So be a woman.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to help curtail, you know, and get you streamlined a little bit just with this communication, so we could have a good channel. So, but yeah, it's interesting. But I love the complexity of a woman, you know. And look, women are fucking strong. They're powerful in a different way. We're strong by like flipping over tables, like goofy shit. They're strong by just like, I see you. Like just little words, little nuances with their words. And look, it's fucking mighty. I love it. I love it. I love that. I love hanging out with, I love all of it. All of it.
So I used to, I was one of the captains on my football team, and I coached, I was captain on a wrestling team. And I was in the military for a while. And now it's funny because when I host bikini competitions, I make everybody put their hand in the middle and I start cussing like Ray Lewis.
Hell yeah.
And then get the girls start screaming, and we treat it like it's a high school pep rally. But it's a bikini competition. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not going to get this fucking money, and afterwards we're all going to eat pizza. And the girls are like, I start screaming, and we race out on there. And the thing is, like, for me, I feel the same way. I just really enjoy because you know, sometimes I like being around my guy friends. Yeah. Play basketball, Call of Duty, make money together, whatever. When I hang around with girls, it's also really fun. I love walking into the Maxim party with like 20 girls. I love when I go on the red carpet and there's all these girls with me and my friends, and all the photographers stop us, want to take photos. I just like that feeling, you know, and it's done nothing but benefit me. And whereas I see other guys, they see women as this very adversarial, like you said before. If a woman is not my type, see, the thing is, if you're a desperate man, every woman's your type. Right. But if a woman is not your type because you have an abundance of women, very quickly I put them in the friend zone, and then I'm like, hey, bring your home girls over here, or I want to hear their story. The other thing is, when look, I go to Jamaica every year with my sales team. We all go out there, and I host I host Paradise Challenge. Okay. And the Black Tape Project. Have you ever seen where the girls only wear electrical tape? It's like they're only like they're bikinis, but they're made out of electrical tape. Nothing but tape. So I go out there and I host it. It's 150 girls who go out there. And we'll be sitting in the hot tub, and I'll be with like the girl I'm dating or whatever, and girls will just be acting crazy. It's like, I don't want to marry them. Yeah. I don't want to be in a relationship with them. But this is fucking awesome. Yeah. I love watching this. This is so, and then one of them is having drama with another, and I'm just laughing my ass off. And I'm like, I enjoy this. This is fine. I'm not taking it home with me. You're not meeting my mom. But it's fun to see sometimes. Yeah. It's just a good time. And I think a lot of guys can't understand that. They don't deal with that. They're like, every minute they're with a girl who they're not fucking is like a waste of their life. And I'm like, I don't see it that at all. I built a business. It's not just companionship. I built a business because beautiful women are in my life, and other dudes want this too. And it's just, to me, it's just so crazy, the adversarial relationship that they choose to have when they don't have to do that. And my clients see that, and they're like, wow, this really works. This is so much of an easier way to live life. Right. Yeah. One of my favorite aspects of the man-woman dynamic is just me being on a date with two women. Yes. Going out to dinner, and I have 2 dates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I sat with like one of my good friends and his wife, and I remember his wife, they were in town from Idaho, and the next day we went to brunch, and she was saying, this is Chris Gethin and Sunshine. Yeah. Peace, much love to y'all. That's my fam. But she was like, you know what? If I would have known you was bringing 2 girls, I would have thought I was creepy. But it was so loving and cool. Yeah. I love fucking people's heads up because, like, when I took my girls on Fresh and Fit, all the girls on the panel, they asked them beforehand, like, would you be in a poly? No, everybody. Afterward, they all was like, yeah. And one of them came home with me. You know what I'm saying? Honesty, yeah. Yeah. So it's the honesty. Like, when you could rely on somebody being honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, you think she's hot? Like, yeah, what do you think? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Of course, yes, I do. Yeah, you think that you're the only, you know you're not the only one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to get cheated on. It's so funny, man. They're like, I tell them, hey, listen, or before that, I'm single. I'm not interested in being in a relationship. This is, back in the day. Yeah. And they're like, well, I'm going to go choose to be in a relationship with this other guy. And I'm like, so I'm telling you the truth, and you're going to go date this male stripper who I'm sure is never going to cheat on you. And then they come back. Yeah, and then they come back at me and they're crying and like, there's no answer. And I'm like, no, there is an answer. I told you the truth. You just didn't want to hear it. I've never told this story before. December of 2020, I'm on a date with two girls actually, and one of them it's funny, I'm kind of seeing both of them, but it's not serious.
Right.
And I introduced the two of them together. They wanted to meet each other. It was very clear we were going to have a threesome, and that was what the whole night was about. And so they're both pretty big influencers. And we go out to Area 15, which is this really, I don't know if you've been here. You should definitely, if you ever want to take a date someplace cool in Vegas, 15? It's not a club. Okay. Area 15 is awesome. So we go to Area 15.
Is it a restaurant?
No. So it's a bunch of, so there's two restaurants in there, but there's also axe throwing. There's also a Mega Mart, which is like a maze that you go through. There's also a place in the back where they have like concerts. There's art installations. There's 3D stuff. It's like, it's almost like an amusement park. And there's also, you can ride this rail that goes all the way around the top. It's just fun. It's just nothing but fun. So I take the girls there, and then there's a third girl that I used to see, but like we're friends, but we used to hook up, and she's on a date with another dude. Well, me and the two girls I'm with, we go in the unisex bathroom together. We're not going to hook up, but we could have been.
Right.
The third girl leaves her date and just walks in the bathroom with us. I'm peeing and I look back at her and I'm peeing and I look back and I'm like, you can't be in here. Right. You're on a date. In her mind, it was like, oh, Michael's with two girls. I want to join. That looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
Again, guys are not grasping what I'm saying. They see me with two girls. They're like, he's with two pretty girls. This is where the value is. I want to hang out here. And I look at her and I'm like, I don't need your date coming to my fucking apartment later. Because he's like, why are you going in there?
Let me add on to that.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
When I'm activated in my polygynous splendor.
Yeah.
All the girls from my past start, do y'all do threesomes?
Yeah.
What's up with her? Like all of that shit. It just comes. When you're out, like, there's something about when a man has a woman, he becomes more appealing to other women.
Yeah.
When you have two women, it's the intention is crazy. We be at Delilah, like in LA, and bro, it just the vibes. It be so. It's like my girl loves it because she tells me like, they just respect you. I love how everyone respects you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want you to be the boss. I want you to look like the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The new girl's like, I felt so safe with y'all. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's just a vibe. It's fun. And it's a level that a lot of people never unlock because they're not honest.
Yeah.
Just be honest. And look, when did you become honest? Because I wasn't always honest.
Oh, it was.
Were you always honest?
I definitely know when it was. It was the first time we were doing a training scenario. I was probably 2005, 6. I was training as a mission navigator at Robins Air Force Base, and we almost died. Like the co-pilot, I think the co-pilot forgot to put the gear down or something like that. But we put the nose down on almost the taxi lights, way off to the left, and somebody called to go around, and so we had just gone off into the dirt and crashed, and we didn't. And I remember texting the girl I was dating that night. I was like, hey, listen, I may die some point, so I'm not going to lie to you about anything from this point forward. Yeah. And since then, I've just chosen complete and total honesty with everybody I've dated.
Yeah, I practice radical honesty.
Yeah.
I had a situation back when the marshals came and got me. I was seeing somebody, and I never looked at her. Like, I didn't want her to be my girlfriend at first, right? Yeah. But she was so sweet, so sexy. She had a boyfriend when I met her. I met them at the same time in the gym. Yeah. And I remember me and him had a good conversation. Yeah. And I told myself never to talk to him again because I want her, right?
Yes. I've been in that exact dudes wanting to be friends with me, so that never happens.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk to him. Yeah. I'm not. It just happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we just had a situation like that. So funny.
Dude, he told this story on my show.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
All right.
But he didn't say your name.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. That happened.
Yeah.
It was like, and that guy, we met online about a year ago. Like he's hit me up, like trying to connect, network. And I seen her, I was like, fuck this guy. I like, it's cool. I don't want to network with him. I was just feeling her so much. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it worked out. It worked out. And the irony of him calling me for advice. Yeah. The same day of the date. Fascinating. You know what I mean? But that's how.
But you guys are cool now.
Who, me and? No, that's my dog.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
He set it up.
What do you mean?
All right, maybe we talking about something different.
Oh, maybe we're talking about something different. Okay, cool.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll talk about it off.
Yeah.
But nah, yeah, we'll talk about it. That's my dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But nah, so I'm fascinated by women. Yeah. Right. There was a time. Look, and then there's tiers, like the types of women you could get. I used to be able to just get just regular chicks. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. That's why, like, when people saying, "Well, his looks," like, it's not about that. It has nothing to do. I've always looked the same. And I never, it's different levels of my life, stages of my life. I was able to do this, to do that. And it's not even all about money. It's about confidence and personality and conversation and things like that. So anyway, when do you get it? All right, so when I got somebody is when we go out to eat for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't really know how to take me yet. And I look a certain way, so they think I'm just
got it.
A
certain
saying,
way. Yeah.
And then just the intellect just steamrolls them. And they're so comfortable. You know what I mean?
Well, with the girls?
Yeah.
They usually have a pretty strong opinion about me before we meet, just because there's so much of my content. They can watch me talk for 50 hours. Right. But it's funny, my girgirlfriend now had never heard of a podcast. She was 20 years old when we met. And it was
good for you.
Yeah. She's 21 now, and it was really interesting. She had never heard of a podcast. So a lot of people think she's with you because you're rich. And I'm like, no, my girlfriend met me. We were on a resort in Mexico. She didn't know if I was poor, rich, nothing. Yeah. So it definitely wasn't like that.
A 20-year-old ain't locked into money like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different. Yeah.
I'll tell you a couple other things that I thought were interesting. The number of women who had no interest in hooking up with me one-on-one, but the idea of being with me and my girlfriend, it was the number of women that are totally fine with that, and the number of women who think that doesn't count. This is mind blowing. It's like if I have sex with one dude, then I'm cheating on my boyfriend. But if it's with a couple, then it doesn't count. Well, that's another one's crazy.
Here's the thing. Yeah, it's the psychology, right? So men are big, stupid, intimidating. Yeah, a woman softens us up.
Yes,
right. And all women. I don't believe in a purely homosexual woman. Yeah, it's homosexual guys. Yeah. But women is interchangeable, right? Yeah. Because I know so many.
And the science shows this, by the way. Evolution of desire describes exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we all started out female and embryo.
Yes. What you're referring to, the X chromosome, and then later there's a Y chromosome. Yeah.
Correct. Right. And we have nipples for no reason. Yeah. They have a little baby dick for no reason. Yeah. They ejaculate for no reason. We all were the same thing at one point, right? Genes expressed differently. But I don't see a purely homosexual woman, because I know, like, one of my friends, I call her my little sis, she's married to a woman that they would consider butch, I guess. I hope that's an appropriate word. Yeah. But you know what I mean. And the more I got to know them, they both talk about dick. Yeah. Even the tough one. And she would fuck this guy and that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Gay dudes ain't thinking about nothing. They're disgusted by that shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I've never met a woman that was like disgusted by a man, gay or not. Yeah. Gay or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the idea, and there's very few women, there's one woman in my life that's just not down with the get down. You know what I'm saying? But every woman that I know, when we get to really talk, they're like, yeah, I guess. Okay. Yeah, sure. When
you explain it to them,
yeah.
If there was just no lying involved, right? The other concept in polygyny, or the other concept that I think a lot of guys don't understand, is that before my girlfriend, I'd say 85% of the women that I was sleeping with were my friends, and these guys don't have a concept of that. Like literally, they go through their life normally. They'll have a boyfriend. They won't have a boyfriend. They'll just move on to someone else. They'll talk to somebody else. And like, we'll just be living our lives. I'll throw their birthday party or whatever. Right. And then they just decide they want to sleep with me. And this concept doesn't work for these guys, because what they're used to is, I meet a woman I'm attracted to, and then I shoot my shot. She puts me in the friend zone, and I'm like orbiting her, waiting for a chance to get to have sex with her. And that's not what I'm doing. Right. I'm just value all the time. I'm offering value. I'm creating win-win situations for people, and they're just observing it as my friend. Yeah. And then they become attracted. At no point am I showing intent towards them, but there's just so many women around that this sort of happens.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's two things, two powerful ways to close the gap to get a woman. Be very aggressive in a cool way. Yeah. Or show no interest at all. Yeah. You know, and my cousin taught me that, the show no interest part. I asked her, I was probably like 19, 20. I'm like, Dion, what drives y'all crazy? She says, she's older. She says, when there's like some kind of mutual attraction, but he doesn't say anything. Yeah. I'm like, he fucked up by telling me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that's part of it. So yeah, I'm never ever thirsty, right? But I love to steamroll a woman sometimes, you know, and I just be nasty in a cool way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just tell her what I'm gonna do to her, what she want me to do, like all of that kind of shit. It's fun. It's fun. You know? Yeah. Yeah. It's
definitely one of these situations where there are attraction. There's a great book. It's called Why Women Have Sex by Cindy Meston and David Boss. He wrote the same Evolutionary Desire book. Okay. And in the book, there's 238 reasons why women have sex, which means that there's infinite reasons why women have sex. And one of them is called mate choice copying, but in Red Pill, they call it pre-selection. And is the concept of that as other women choose me, more women then choose me. And then when you look at that, what that would mean is that there's a group of men at the top who have an exponential number of partners. But if you do the math, then that means there's going to be a group of men at the bottom who don't have any. And then when we look at the numbers, it bears out exactly that. The top 10% of men on Tinder get 63% of the right swipes. The top 20% of men on Tinder get 83% of the right swipes. If you want to correlate that to women, the top 43% of women get 63% of the right swipes. So that's a much more normal distribution. Right. And there's another one I saw was really incredible. 5% of men on Tinder are right swiping and getting connections. Something like 63% of women. So when women want to meet a dude on Tinder, they meet them. It's very easy. Yeah. When men want to meet a woman on Tinder, there's this small group of men, 5%, that are getting anything they want, and then there's a large group of men that are not. And the reason why is, again, the phone, while it gave us all access, it gave the most access to the men who had the most to offer, and very little access to the men who didn't. Right. So the guy doing the drive-through at McDonald's, he's like invisible to a lot of women. That problem, that problem of inequality, which is described so eloquently by guys like Richard Reeves, who's a PhD, and Dr. Scott Galloway, and by David Buss, the description of that problem is just such level of inequity that it's discussed as a problem. But the reason why this problem isn't discussed is because the idea in academia of men being disadvantaged is not something you ever discuss. Men are never disadvantaged. Women are only disadvantaged. Minorities are disadvantaged, and people of alternative lifestyles, LBGT, they're disadvantaged. Men can never be disadvantaged, but of course we know that's not true. Men are 9 times as likely to commit suicide after a divorce as women are. So that we know that's the case. Having the discussion, however, is politically incorrect, and that's the reason why we get into this situation where you have an overcorrection, possibly, where some people, definitely not the guys we were referring to earlier, but some people in the red pill community is just, I hate women now. Yeah. That can never be the case. You can never hate women. Right. We need them. We're better together than we are apart, like Rollo says. So it's just a really interesting socioeconomic discussion that a lot of people are afraid to have. And because serious academics don't want to have that discussion, they are now. GadSad's having it. Like I said, Chris Williamson, David Buss, Scott Galloway, and Richard Reeves are having this discussion, but a lot of people don't want to have this discussion that are up there. What happens is people who don't have the credentials are having the discussion, and sometimes they have the discussion irresponsibly, and then that's where we get into the situation we're in right now.
No, I agree.
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk to you about, one of my favorite, you mentioned before about the situation with your, have you read David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me?
No.
All right. So one of the really interesting parts of the book is he goes through some significant abuse from his father. His name's Trunis Goggins. And his father abuses his mother, and then they both one day just finally leave Buffalo and move out and go somewhere else. One of the crazy things that happens in the book is that after that happens, his mother then marries a convicted felon, gets out of jail. This guy had been convicted of murder, gets out of jail. And I remember in that part of the book listening to that and being like, man, that is so fucking selfish. Like, you just escaped this level of abuse and you're going to put your kids back in that situation. The reason why I bring that up is because you brought that up before about the kids being put in this bad situation with the murder show. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, the other thing he talks about in the book is how he deals with adversity and how he deals with haters. He used to work at Ecolabs, and that was, exterminator, right? He used to leave peanut butter out, and the cockroaches would come and like fester all over the peanut butter. He'd be able to kill them all. And he was like, when I make this content, that's the peanut butter that gets you cockroaches to come out and talk shit about me. Yeah. And then he doesn't say anything back. You said something I love. He's like, I will never utter their name, but if I see them in the same room, I might slap them. Yeah. I'm always asking guys who are successful how you deal with haters. I have definitely gone down a bad road sometimes with these people, especially on Twitter, where I'm like, hey, bro, for you, the thing was I'm taking steroids. For me, the thing was you're paying these girls. And I've never, same thing, I'll put it out there, $20,000, you can find a single girl I've ever paid to be in any of my content or ever paid to hang out with me one time. And they're all tagged on IG. There's hundreds of them. You can look them all up. And so the problem is dealing with these haters. I'm curious, how do you deal with it? I heard what you said with Bradley Martin, where you said, I'd never utter their name. What is your overall strategy?
Yeah. Listen, just to be full transparency, I'm a very emotional and sensitive person. I own it. But I have mastery over that. I've gained it over the years. I used to not have it. Yeah. So I used to fight a lot, and it would get me in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Right. even breaking my hands and, you know, just pissed off. I just broke this and I broke that, right? So now it just doesn't affect me, right? I will always give somebody the opportunity to address me.
Yeah.
You know, I would love that. And look, I'm a very confrontational person, not in the sense that I got to run up on you and fight you, but if there's an issue, let's resolve it.
Yeah.
Let's confront that issue.
The opposite of being passive aggressive.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I hate when people try to put that on me. I'm aggressive. I'm
not passive aggressive. I'm aggressive.
I'm aggressive. Is what you see is what you get, right? If I'm not tripping, I'm really not tripping, and I'm honest with my words. So yeah, I just don't deal with them. There's never a situation to where someone has given me any kind of vitriol in real life. Maybe one time, and it was a guy that he felt shunned because he was on the outside. He was once in, and then we had to put him out because he put hands on a chick in UK. He's working with one of my other guys doing videography, and they gave me a report on his behavior, and it was bad, and we addressed it. We don't play that shit.
Yeah.
We don't play that shit. And like, yeah, you gotta go. He came to an expo, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So look, I was hot-headed, and I don't fuck with these industry people. You know what I'm saying? And there was guys in my industry I just hated because they've done foul shit and said weird shit as if we're not gonna run into each other. What I learned is that the streets got way more honor than just regular business shit, because these guys don't have no sense of like, there's no physical repercussion for the shit that they do. They think they can scare you with suing. I'm like, bro, that's a piece of paper that means nothing to me. I will tear it and ignore it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know how many times people said, are you threatening me? Like on the phone, are you threatening me? Yeah, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would take, like the expo, I take one of my boys, Big Tony, he's a cop, but off duty, just so I can have an alibi if I have to fuck somebody
That is
up.
exactly why I hire security too, because it's not that I need you to fight for me, it's that I need you to I usually try to get a sheriff, because I need, when we go to court, I need for this sheriff to say, this is what happened.
Yeah. So Tony's my boy, that's my guy. And he's swole, he's chill. Nobody knows he's a cop. Yeah. But yeah, the guy, he wanted to talk to me. I'm like done with him. And they telling me, I'm like, yo, I got a line. You can get in line. Yeah. And then I felt like it's kind of, I was like, all right, what's up? Come on. Yeah. And I'm rushing him, like, what's up? What you want to talk about? He didn't like how I was dealing with him. You know what I mean? And he's a small guy, so he felt like that gives him a pass, but it doesn't. I don't care if you're handicapped. I will fuck you up. If I feel some aggression, I'm afraid, and I'm gonna handle myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't care your condition. You know, you be blind, small, because I'm small. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're small, right? So, but nothing happened, of course. He would have died. I wouldn't even got to touch him. Everybody else would have fucked him up. But it just I don't put that energy out no more. Like, I don't antagonize anybody, right? And when people like say weird shit on social, I'll comment on it. Like, explain your position. I want to hear it. Let's talk about it. Like, I'll lean into it, but they just go away. I just deal with shit rationally and logically, you know? But there was a time that I would like, yo, try to find this motherfucker's IP address.
Bro, I have. Let me say something. For those of you who are listening who want to leave comments on here, Web 3.0 is going to tokenize everything. I don't know if you're aware of this, which means once somebody finds a hacker, we will find your IP address. Be very wary of that. But for all this stuff where you talk, some dude threatened to do things to my family members the other day. I posted it. People threaten to do all kinds of stuff to me and they leave it. Bro, you're going to get caught at one of these points. Anyway.
So I actually have a AI engineer on the team. We all in the Web3s. Yeah. And now I'm not on that shit. Yeah. But back when I was on that shit, we couldn't. I used to tell people like, yo, bro, DM, like, bro, I swear to God, I'll come wherever you at. No, I've
done that. I've like, dude, like, I will pay. I will pay for you to fly out to my place. I will write it off as a tax release. I will film me slapping the fuck out of you, and then I will post it on YouTube and make money off of you. That's what I'm gonna do.
But bro, my hatred for them was so deep. It's like no social nothing. I just want me and you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm embarrassed about this a little bit. Not really, but a little bit. But I actually got into it with somebody 28 is before COVID, 2018 or 19. Yeah. Like LA Fit Expo. This guy, it's these guys, man, some of these piece of shit little trainers that they think their muscles is everything. Yeah. They want to hang around me. I don't know if they think they're just going to get on because they're around me, but it's like, bro, what do you offer? Yeah. Right? And this one guy was like going after my girl, like, because at the time, like, me and her was having problems. This was a while ago. So I'm just like not doing no social media shit. Let's try to be normal. And so maybe he didn't know we was together anymore. So he's in her DMs. But I was seeing him on her comments, right? Like hearts. Like, that's weird as shit. I'm like, do you know him? She's like, no. I said, has he DM'd you? She said, I don't think so. I said, go and see. Lo and behold, he's been DMing her.
In the request folder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so fucking lame. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, bro, you going to Olympia this year? Yeah. What's up, big bro? I said, all right, cool. We're going to talk. I said, he tried to act like he's boxing. I said, bring your boxing gloves. We're going to spar. Oh, man, I ain't on it like you. I'm like, it's okay. Just bring them. He's like, well, what's up? I said, we'll talk. Nah, like, just talk to me now. I said, nah, talk to me in Vegas. He was like, nah, I'm good. I said, nah, I'm hot, because I think he knows.
Yeah.
I said, bro, if you don't talk to me, I just want to talk to you. If you don't meet up and talk to me, it's not going to be pretty. Like, I'm going to just snatch you up wherever I see you. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
He said, LOL, I'm steaming. I'm like, all right, cool. Didn't see him on that one. Time go on, I'm over it. January, LA Fit Expo. I'm walking by like day 2. I'm about to leave. I fucking see him. Beeline. I don't tell nobody I'm with anything. Walk over. He's at my boy's booth. I said, get your bitch ass up. You get up, that. And I walked off. And I wanted to like just do damage to him.
Yeah.
But it's people. I did it so fast, nobody filmed anything.
Yeah.
Actually, my brother filmed it because he didn't know why because he was filming content for my boy. But you know, it happened real fast and then just walked off. And then it's crazy because like when I taste blood, I want to kill. So I'm hitting him up afterward like, yo, let's meet. Let's meet.
Yeah.
He blocks me and shit like that. That's not cool though. That's not.
It's also not sustainable. And it's also not sustainable. You can't do that with everyone, right?
You just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not cool. A person like him has a problem. He's weak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's so weak to the flesh that he'll risk getting his ass beat and humiliated just to shoot a shot at something that I got, right?
Yeah.
You can't
just to feel relevant,
Just to feel relevant. Just to okay, you fucker. You're ruin a potential relationship, right? Of me and her and me and you, just for pussy.
Yeah.
And people like that are just pathetic.
It is pretty sad.
So now I wouldn't even address anybody like that. Because first of all, my circle is tighter now. Like, I don't allow just anybody in no more. I used to just feel like, hey, come on, you know. But I don't do that no more. Especially these guys it's guys who ain't got shit, you know, and they're inspiring, and I be feeling away for them. But it's just not, the imbalance is so off. They look at me like I'm their peer, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm usually older than them, but we all look the same age, right? I'm older than you. I'm just way more accomplished, like, than you'll probably ever be. Because nobody really knows what I do.
Yeah.
To that extent, till they come out to my HQ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, this is okay. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. The lifestyle, the access to is just different. So it creates this kind of void that makes them just do weird shit.
Yeah.
And I just don't want that around.
Yeah, I do have the peer issue where people will hit me up and be like, hey, let's go grab coffee. And I'm like, I have 500 clients. I have one-on-ones all day. I'm just going to stop what I'm doing to go have coffee? Like, I don't understand. I'm going to pitch you this idea. Yeah. Oh, and another idea. I haven't heard any. And I don't want to seem ungrateful, but it's just one of these things where like my time is so valuable. The other thing when you're talking about with the sparring gloves, I was thinking of like Mike Tyson or somebody like that had a problem with me and wanted me to go spar. I'm like, the honor of getting knocked out by Mike Tyson, I would go in two. If somebody had a problem with me and wanted to spar with me, even if I'm out of shape, of course I'm going to go, dude. I played football. I've been knocked out before. I would go do that in 2 seconds if I had the ability.
Just out of honor, like
for sure.
You call me out. I gotta answer that call.
100%.
You're not gonna be able to tell people, oh, he didn't want it.
Oh my God, bro. That's crazy to me, man. Yeah, in 2 seconds I would go out there. Even if I got beat up, like, there's no way I would say no to that.
But we all heard, what is it called? What was Franklin Roosevelt's poem? The man, fuck.
Oh, you can live, the coward dies once in the...
Nah, that's Shakespeare, which I fuck with that too. Man in the Arena.
Okay.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all these people on the sidelines criticizing and they're doing nothing. So whether you win, lose, or draw, you're the champion. You're the guy. You know what I mean? So but that one is a good one. The coward dies 1,000 deaths. Yeah. Hero dies one. I resonate with that so hard. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to say his name, but this guy's a bitch. he's just a really bad person. He makes a lot of money. And it's so interesting because the people I know that make money are good people.
Yeah.
But there are bad people that make money.
A few, yeah.
And he really got over on somebody that I care about. And I kind of set them up. And I asked him, because I deal with people on their merit, right? Just because people like, oh, don't fuck with him. I'm like, all right, tell me why. If you can't give me nothing solid, then, you know, all right, maybe your interaction wasn't pleasant.
I generally, I need 3 provable negative interactions before I'm going to kick someone.
Right.
That doesn't mean they're in my main circle, but before they get uninvited to everything, I need 3 provable things that way. If it's 3 girls that came to me and said this photographer's creepy, then he's got to go.
Right.
But I need 3.
Yeah. So this guy, you know, he seemed nice. Like, he seemed good. He's a legit businessman, whatever. So I put him with CT. Yeah. CT was looking for a deal for something, and they were making money, and I'm asking them certain things because we in the same industry and I know the game. And so I'm taking mental note of everything. And then the day comes and he stops paying them while CT's sick of all times. And I'm like, bro. So the explanation was bullshit and a lie, like not true. So I asked to meet with him. He was in Vegas, always in Vegas. And he said yes, but he ducked and dodged me. He just always was like, oh, I'm sorry, but this. So we were in UK for an expo, for an event, and we're all at one of the distributors' booth talking, and then he happens to come over there, and just not to be awkward, he tries to shake my hand. Yeah. I'm like, nah, bro, I don't do that. Yeah. You got me fucked up. Watch out. Get out of here. And he had put his head down and walked off. And then I went and had a conversation with him later that day. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, but what you did was fucked up. Yeah. You know, another situation, there was a guy, I'm not gonna say his name either because he's a big name, but I kept hearing about him talking so much shit about me. I'm like, what? Every time I see him, it's cool. I was like, okay. In UK, it might have been that same trip. I see him in, what the fuck is that restaurant? Anyway, that chicken spot. Anyway, he's there with his guys, right? I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna give him the opportunity to tell me I ain't shit or whatever the fuck you're saying, right? Yeah. So look, if somebody has a problem with me that I hear, if they don't say nothing to me, it's not a problem.
For sure.
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, Mike? We just sitting there shooting the shit. Good convo. His guys is all right there chilling. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all good? All right, shake hands with everybody. Left. So your guys got to see you a big pussy. You've been
right, because you've been talking all that shit, and then you
come over there and you melt. Yeah. And you're buddy. So when you look in the mirror, you're dead. Yeah. A piece of you died. Not me. When I die, it's a wrap. Yeah. I'm gonna get killed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, cowards die all the time. Little slices all the time because they're bitches. They
That's
can't
incredible.
Be men. Yeah.
My favorite book on this subject is Hustle Harder by 50 Cent, which is partly inspired by Robert Greene. He helped him write it from 48 Laws of Power. It's really, really good.
Was it 50 Laws?
No, 50 Laws is a different book. Different one? Okay. Yeah, Hustle Harder. The reason why I love it is because I love books on leadership, and he actually talks about when he's running a record label, when he's buying Life Water, and when he's selling crack in Queens, and he takes lessons from all 3. Like in one place, he's almost a billionaire, and in this other place, he's selling crack in Queens. This is before he gets shot 9 times. And the relation between all 3, you're like, oh, this is ubiquitous amongst all men, not just rappers, not just people in the military. Yeah. It's also in prison. It's also in your relationship. Right. And so that's why I love that book so much. It's one of my favorite books.
I love 50 Cent in general. Yeah. You know, I love the winners. I love the champions. Yeah. And in music, he was a champion. And when I say that, he was a guy that the guys would want to be and the girls would want to fuck. Yeah. The music was good. The business was good. Everything was in place. It's not complete. There's no complete champion now. Yeah. There's none. You know what I mean? Yeah. And before him, it was Tupac.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that we have a pure champion, a purebred champion like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and sometimes we don't recognize them till afterwards. Yeah. You think about all the controversy when Muhammad Ali gets arrested, right, for dodging the draft. Yeah. And you can imagine a majority, or not a majority, but a good number of Americans probably saw that as very unpatriotic.
They hated him.
Exactly.
Because Ali is my idol. Yeah. So I know all the stories, and we have all the footage, and they hated that man so much. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now look, he's a hero. And it's fine. This is a hero's death. Like, see, that's why I look at death like when Notorious Big died, right? I'm from Brooklyn, so that resonated with me. Yeah. And there was a parade through the streets with his casket, man. When you look at it, it's like on one side you could be like, damn, he was 25, it's a tragedy. Yeah. But no, this was beautiful. I can't see him as an old guy, for one. Yeah. Right? He's gonna get uncool, fatter. You know what I'm saying? So he died in his glory, the height of his glory.
Yeah.
And he put, look at how happy these people are. He put so many smiles and made us proud as shit, right? So that's like living 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And he's immortalized through his music. You know,
my girlfriend, she's 21, and I'm rapping to Biggie.
No
I'm rapping to Warning,
Ain't that
and
crazy?
she does it. It's 5:46 in the morning. She's like, "What's that beeping noise?" I'm like, "Babe, it's a pager."
It's a beeper.
Before you were born, we used to run around with a pager, and she's like, "Listen to this shit."
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I'm just thinking, I'm rapping to somebody who was this. I bought this album, the tape. I had a tape. I had a Ghetto Boys tape. I had Tupac on tape. I had Biggie on tape. This is before even CD. I couldn't afford CDs. And back then, I was listening to this before you were born.
That's crazy.
I had all, and I remember every word of those tracks, man.
Ain't it crazy that you can fuck a girl that wasn't born when you first had sex?
Bro, here's what's really crazy is when she gets mad about me talking about an ex-girlfriend who I had before she was born. It's like she's upset. I used to manage a strip club from like 01 to 04. And like, you were 2 years old. And she's like, that girl was a slut. I'm like, you were 2. I can't, like, I wasn't cheating on you, baby. I promise.
That's crazy. That's hilarious.
Those are the best, man.
But, back to hip hop.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. So, I think about it like, damn. Like, me and my son, he's 17. We listen to the same music.
Yeah.
Damn near dressed the same. All of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Me and my father is so different.
Isn't it funny?
Not the same, right? And me and my father are closer in age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so fascinating how like hip hop kept us so relevant.
Yes.
And look, I went to Nas concert last summer. Nas was still cool as fuck.
Yeah.
50 years old.
Man, I was showing my girlfriend Juicy J from 20 years ago. She's like, Juicy J's been around for 20 years.
That's crazy.
I'm like, yeah, Juicy J was rapping when Wiz Khalifa wasn't even born.
Yeah,
and he's like, 3-6 Mafia is probably the oldest, most successful.
More than 20 years.
Yeah. No, but I'm showing old stuff, and I'm like,
right.
she didn't understand.
That's crazy.
They were watching a Willie D podcast, and I'm like, Willie D was a rapper in the Ghetto Boys back in, and she's like, we're like Bun B and all this kind of stuff, and like, she doesn't understand. Bun B was a professor at Rice after he was a lecturer at Rice after he was with UGK when Pip C died. So like stuff like that, and you just realize, because I think you and I are both 45. You're 45 right now?
46.
46. My peer group doesn't understand how old I am.
Right.
They know I'm 45, but I play basketball with them every week, and I cross them up.
Right.
And my girlfriend's 21, and my girlfriend before that was 25.
Right.
And so in their mind, and I'm on a podcast, and I have people follow me.
Do you have an age limit for women?
No, it's totally random. I actually thought she was older when I met her because she had breast cancer. She had a boob job.
Okay.
And so I just assumed she was like 23, 24 or through college.
Right.
But she's like, I'm 20. I was like, wow, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, my peer group, like we'll go out tomorrow night. My peer group, you'll see, they're so much younger than me.
Right.
But then, like, Brad Lee is older than me.
Yeah.
And those guys, like the ones I learned from, they're older than me.
That's how my shit is too.
Yeah.
So like my closest guy to me, that's my business partner, Sean. Shout out to Sean, that's my brother. He just turned 35.
Yeah.
You know, but I've been knowing him for so long, you know, but he's always been a very mature, more mature than me.
Yeah.
You know? And then I got friends like Eric Weinstein. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and I love hanging out with these guys. Like, it's a pleasure. I'm so honored when they want to come see me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, I feel you. I don't really I have a couple friends my age from like college that we still in touch.
Yeah, I have a couple friends my age, but they can't move anymore.
Yeah,
like they're just like they're.
See, I be on their asses though. I was like, you fat fuck.
Yeah,
it's like if you don't know us, you think we hate each other.
Yeah,
but I won't let nobody else talk to them like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got a couple of them, and I love those guys. I love seeing them. You know, I was just in Phoenix 2 weeks ago, and I hung out with my boy Willie and Ray, just talking shit all night. We had girls there, but I didn't give a fuck. We just talking shit, hanging out. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it is really interesting when you go back. But like I mean, some people say I don't feel 45. Like no one sees me as 45, and that's one of the issues that happens. Like because I'm hosting a bikini competition next Friday with 60 girls, and I do 100% of the recruiting. Right. It just doesn't mesh with a retired U.S. military officer.
You remind me of me, man. You like just a relentless soul.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I just don't stop. I can't stop.
Yeah,
I'm always doing something. Like my phones, man, it's gonna be the death of me, man. Like I got 14 texts I gotta get to, talking to this person, this phone is on speakerphone, like yep.
Yeah.
I love that chaos because I operate good in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I have a problem where I wake up, still pitch black in my room, I have blackout curtains. And I do not get out of bed or even go pee until every single red icon on my iPhone is gone. I'll answer every single email and then I get up.
Right.
And it's just one of these things I do where I'm really meticulous when it comes to that. But then when I'm doing a podcast, everything gets shut off.
Yeah.
I read this book called The One Thing by Gary Keller from Keller Williams Realty. He wrote that book.
Okay.
And it's just like only one thing at a time. Can't do more than one thing
That's
at a time.
true.
And it's
That's
been
true.
really, really great for me.
That's true.
Learning that concept. A couple more controversial things that you talked about here. One of my love is drug testing and bodybuilding. I did a video about this. Bulzarian commented, he goes, natural bodybuilders are not, they're not dedicated to their craft. He was saying it to me, buddy. Like this idea. You're on TRT. I'm on TRT. It's the greatest decision I've ever made. Next to joining the military, probably the greatest decision I've ever made. And it's really interesting to me how you can affect your endocrinology. When you get to the next level, steroids, there are legal steroids you can take. A lot of people don't realize you can get a prescription for Anavar, stuff like that. You can't get a prescription for like equipoise. That's for horses. But how do you see that whole thing going? I actually don't understand. I just know too many people who've taken steroids at a certain point of their life, gotten off it. They have a frame of some muscularity, then they stop taking it, and they're fine. I'm thinking of Derek More Plates, More Dates. I'm thinking of Dan Bilzerian. I'm thinking of Greg Doucette. I'm thinking of a million other. I'm thinking of Jay Cutler. Guys like that. Where do you stand on that whole issue?
I think, look, to each their own.
Yeah.
I think people should do what the fuck they want to do. If you're trying to be Mr. Olympia, you got to go hard.
Yeah.
It's not forever. Go hard. Be smart about it, and know it's just a small window of time that you can do that.
Yeah.
And try to max out, and then pull out and be smart,
Yeah.
like Jay Cutler. That's one of my close homies. You know, you can't do that shit forever. For one, I think it's awesome. Like, you know, I've been to Mr. Olympia many times, and I'm just blown. I never wanted to look like that, but I'm fucking amazed. I'm amazed by that.
Can
shit.
you believe Ronnie Coleman did that first one natural?
Bro,
One of the craziest stories. No, for those of you who don't know, we know he did it natural because later he did it not natural, and he looked like a fucking Decepticon. Like he looked he had muscles where the humans didn't have muscles.
See, I have friends like that.
Yeah.
You know, one of my good friends, Simeon Panda, I want to fight for him all the time. Because he's very classy, so he don't even deal with that shit.
Yeah.
The haters, they go so hard at him. I know this guy's one of the best people I know. Like no bullshit, right? He's an exceptional human being. He doesn't lie. And I know him. And he's all natural and always has been, right? I used to be right there with him, all natural. You know, so I know it's possible, right? It's like we train a certain way that even on steroids, you're not going to get like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
I've seen people take steroids for a whole summer and then they just look like a normal person at the end of it.
That
like
works
the
out a little
steroids
bit.
they look like this ectomorph, like super skinny, and they took roids for a whole summer, and at the end they didn't look roided up. They just look like normal.
Yeah.
And but you can't tell because the ones you can tell, they're like abusing trend and they're in the fucking gym every day.
Yeah.
That's fine too. But there's no problem with it. I think the only issue is when you're Chris Hemsworth and you say you're not on anything and then you're selling a dream, that might be an issue. But like, I think the rest of it is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or The Rock or someone like that.
Does The Rock say that?
The Rock says he's natural. He's 6'5", 275 pounds of all natural.
It's hard. It's hard, bro. I'm gonna tell you why it's hard.
Yeah.
And I know people want to hate right now.
Yeah.
But this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
In nutrition, and no, I'm not educated in it, but I'm educated in it.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some people. First of all, you could take all the steroids in the world. That doesn't make you big.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. It sets the stage for you to get big.
You got to eat.
It's the food and the training, right, and sleeping, right. So, like Dexter Jackson, another good friend of mine, what are you looking forward to when you retire? He says, to not eat so much.
Same thing. Jay Cutler said it was like 36 eggs. He was talking about eating he would go buy an entire cow at once.
Look, one time me and Simeon, I think it was the first time before he moved to the States. You know who Simeon Panda is?
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. Simeon. I know who Dexter is.
He's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
All natural, looks incredible. But the first time we had dinner together, we was at my suite in LA, and everybody ordering food. He ordered 3 entrees.
Yeah.
I ordered 2 to try to keep up, and I couldn't fuck with it. I'm like,
yeah,
that's how you tight waist, no stomach at all. But it requires that kind of nutrition all the time. It's a job, right?
It is.
I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to eat like that.
Jay said there's no food he enjoys anymore.
I can see it.
Because that happens.
Yeah. So when I was my biggest, I was eating like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
I was on the juice at that time, but I was eating like crazy. It did increase my appetite.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, bro, I was eating so fucking much. And that's why I am not a foodie. I eat once a day now. I haven't eaten yet, and I'm fine. And
So Brandon Carter talks about this. Gregor Gallagher talks about this, about pushing your first meal back as far as you can, so you get into ketosis. You say you lift fasted because that hunger makes it better for you in the gym.
I do. All right.
By the way, I didn't eat today. It is 8:28, and I have not eaten today. It's exactly the same thing.
This was anecdotal until I did research, and the research confirmed my own studies on myself.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to be stronger on an empty stomach, because I felt stronger on an empty stomach.
I totally agree.
I felt weighed down when I ate, right? I always felt smarter. I never wanted to do anything. I never wanted to eat and do anything. I wanted to eat after, because it's like a reward, right? And when I started researching like fasting, it was like, yep. So when we're in a fasted state, we have a heightened sense of alertness, mental acuity, memory, vision, right? And I wear glasses. I could probably take my glasses off right now and be fine. When I eat some bullshit, the next day I can't see that good.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Inflammation.
Yeah. So, all right. So humans our bodies are marvelous pieces of technology, right? That wants to survive. So it does everything to survive. So when with nothing in us, it gives us all of the things that we need to go and find food. You know, and these hunters, like I have an ingredient in one of my products. I have a product called Ember. It's like a fat burner, but it's also an appetite suppressant, and the appetite suppressant part is called African mango. And these hunters they've been using this for thousands of years. They would chew on this African mango to be able to, because they hunt on an empty stomach. They haven't eaten for a few days. It's time to go find food. It keeps the hunger down. It gives them energy while they're empty, right? But that was the norm. You hunt on an empty stomach, and you have to mentally be alert to find, hear, remember, catch it, kill it, take it back home, all on an empty stomach. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that, you have that hungry mind state. You don't have a full mind state. Full mind state is watching Netflix, getting your dick sucked. You know what I'm saying? So after I eat, I'm ready to chill. Yeah. I'm done for the night, So, like, I'm sure this is the start of a good relationship, bro. We'll go out. You'll see I barely eat when I go out. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm more there for the vibes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'll nibble on a little bit, but I don't want to feel full and bogged down. But yeah, so mine is a little bit more extreme. Yeah. So they do an intermittent fasting. I do a form of intermittent fasting, but I just eat once a day. Yeah. It just makes it simple for me. Yeah. Now, there's times that I'll eat twice, but it's rare because I don't feel good when I eat too many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. I seem to have that problem where middle of the day I'll eat and then I just want to go to sleep.
You get tired. Yeah,
I get tired. It's almost like there's a button at the top of my stomach that just like sleep time. And so, yeah, a lot of times when I have something coming up, I just don't eat anything.
Well, it works out for you to sleep after you eat so your body can partition the nutrients properly. Yeah. Sleep is we need sleep so bad. Like I used to not value sleep. Yeah. But when I started sleeping, like being more conscious of getting good sleep, man, I feel like a new reset, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really important. And then the other thing that you just brought up is a concept in evolutionary psychology, which is everything that is pervasive amongst Homo sapiens must exist somewhere in evolution. Meaning our desire for a hip to waist ratio, facial symmetry, and signs of youth in women have to come from the fact that when we had sex with women who didn't have those things, our children would not come out as strong. Women, on the other hand, would look for men who were provisioners. It's a shoulder to waist ratio of 1.65 to 1 that they would look for. And they didn't care as much about our facial symmetry. They cared more about the fact that we were competent at something, being a fisherman, being a builder.
It just looks sturdy.
Yeah, just looks like a sturdy human being. I posted this thing the other day about when muggers look for victims, they literally look for guys who have knees locked out, feet pointed outwards, and they have like a marshmallow torso because this is a person that you could steal their money from. And what I'm trying to explain to guys is women also see that and are turned off by you. No matter what they say about a dad bod, they do not. Walking like you are a member of the U.S. Marine Corps is more attractive to women because she knows in the end, if there's a problem, someone is going to at least appear to look like they can handle it.
Right. And that's the thing. So I have this concept. I always tell people like, yo, stay dangerous. And I've had some debates with people. It's funny. And it's, well, what's dangerous? Because they think it's just a man with money. I'm like, no. So this conversation with this guy, he's a pussy. He only has money, so he's poor. And he tried to debate that with me. I'm like, all right, let's talk. He said, no, money is that makes a man dangerous. I said, explain. He said, like Vladimir Putin or like Biden is dangerous. I'm like, Biden's not dangerous.
And Vladimir Putin killed a lot of people. He was a member of the KGB, like during the war in Afghanistan.
Putin dangerous.
He did a lot of other stuff,
but not for why you say he's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He's a man, right? I said everybody got money nowadays. See, he lives in Dallas, right? But I guess whoever he's around, they're all broke because he's the only guy with money.
Yeah.
This guy. I said, bro, everybody got money. He said, no, they don't. I said, well, everybody I'm around has money. So that you put 10 men in a room, they all got money, but 2 of them are dangerous. They're eating everybody's food, easy. Bro, I can just take, like, give me this. No violence. Give me this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy. So, and I told him, because he think, because you got muscle, it has nothing to do with that, right? I said, it could be a skinny man with a bomb attached to his body. That's dangerous. He's down to blow the shit up. It's having not just the capacity for violence, but down to do the violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of strong-looking people that's pussies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, people can just lift weights and do steroids and they look tough.
Yeah.
And they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're puppies. And I just think men should be violent, be dangerous, because when you, like me, I don't bother nobody because I know that a person don't have to look a certain way to be able to whoop ass.
Yes.
I've been there. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be that guy that didn't look tough. I fought good because I used to get fucked with so much. I was real skinny. You know what I'm saying? And boxing is not in school, so nobody knows I can box.
Yeah.
So, and I learned at an early age that bullies can't fight.
Yeah, you find that out. Yeah.
Because they're so used to intimidating
That's why they're talking,
people. Yeah. And people never test them. But yeah, run to that bully.
You mentioned in one podcast, and you didn't expound, so I don't know what it is, that you have very different views on racism than some people. Could you expound on that?
It's just not a thing.
Okay.
It's not a thing. Like,
is it not a thing that affects you, or is it not a thing like Jesse Lee Peterson says it's not a thing?
I never heard his breakdown on it.
Okay.
I don't want to just co-sign
it
for sure. Hearing it, but I say it like this. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
You can say you hate. I don't trust nobody's words.
Okay.
Because I've been in a room with a dude that was supposedly racist.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's drinking. I'm not. He's drinking. I can tell he's trying to get close to me to talk to me because he thinks I'm interesting.
Yeah.
And he does. And as the sauce is in him more, he's like, man, I'm not really racist. It's just like my parents is racist.
Right.
I said, no shit. I figured that. Like, that doesn't bother me. And it really doesn't. If you have no interaction with black people, you know what I'm saying? You might feel a certain way about black people.
Right.
You're going to be a little intimidated, whatever. And I know how we come across. We can be very intimidating. You know what I'm saying? We're loud. We're a bright, colorful people. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know, just like you hear me and my friends, you think we about to fight. Like, we having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Culturally, it's not about race. It's about culture.
Yeah.
Black and white ain't a skin color. You know what I mean? Because I know black people that I would not fuck with. Like, you're weird to me. Get out of here. You're an outcast.
Yeah, weird is weird. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Yeah. So, and culture is culture. And when you say like a white person, it's like some people that's white is not white in terms of culture. And look, we're both well-traveled men. European and American white people are not the fucking same.
Italian people
They're so different.
Yeah, and you know Irish people don't look anything the same. Yeah.
And they don't act the same.
Yeah.
You know? So race and so I will never I would never use that as a crutch.
Yeah.
It's a superpower, you know? From my experiences thus far, my first thing in fitness, Muscle and Fitness wanted to shoot me. Their model didn't show up, and they was shooting at the gym that I trained at, and they were like, man, would you be down to do a shoot for us? I was like, sure. And then the guy's talking to me, he's a white guy. He's like, man, you're so unique. And he said, we're tired of these boring white guys with six packs and blonde hair. This is a white guy saying this. So I know that, you know, I know my powers. I know the allure. You know what I'm saying? And I've traveled the world. I've treated really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I do think that there are some people who do have an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are quote unquote racist. You know, it's like Like I've been around just so many girls, and I remember one time it was these girls at the crib. It was a bunch of us, and these two white girls like, I don't know why white men hate y'all so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, tell me more. They just, if they think that house, they know, they go so crazy. And I've heard girls tell me, like, she dated this dude that was at a bar that we was at, and the nasty messages he sent her afterwards. I can't believe you fucked a black guy, you fucking disgusting. Like, he called her he's so disgusted. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you mad for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's an inferiority complex. You feel like you can't come after
like
me.
with Donald Sterling with the Clippers, where he was like complaining to his girl
that shouldn't even bother me,
about the Magic Johnson thing. Yeah,
that's the guy that he brought somebody. Yeah.
B. Stiviano.
Yeah, but he's an old man. What do you expect?
Sure.
Like, I don't give a shit. That shit don't bother me.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me at all.
Well, those are two different things: racism and then does it bother you?
Okay, there is racism.
Yeah,
I know there's racism.
Yeah,
you know, but I see a gap closing on that, and it's becoming classism. Yeah. Right. That's the real racism, you know, because look, I'm black. I'm a real black dude. I don't act white. I don't, you know, most of my friends are black. I do have white friends. I be speeding in my Lambo, like whatever, and I don't get fucked with because I'm a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't bullshit them. You know, I pulled you over. Yep, my bad. You know, I was having fun. You know what I'm saying? They get it, you know, so I got white privilege. You know what I'm saying? The things that one would call white privilege, do I got? Look, I set myself and my family up in a certain way to where I am protected by certain things. I live in Orange County. We were not affected by COVID at all in terms of any lockdowns.
Yeah.
Them white folks was like, it's like all these restaurants, they said, none of us are closing. Fuck y'all, try it. I'm like, yep, I'm over here. What's up?
Yeah.
That ain't a black or white thing. That's a Orange County thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? So there are things, now, racism as an institution exists. White people are not going to change it. So my message to that is to black people on how we have to change it. We have to get into these systems and actually physically change it. Be a cop. It's a good profession. This white dude racist, he got a black partner, he chilling. Because racism don't stand up in person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And say a person, and the more you experience life, you do realize that white people get it just as bad as black people. It's poor people, unprotected, I totally agree. Unprotected people get treated like shit.
I was explaining this to a woman who's a feminist, and she was like talking about a patriarchy, and I was like, if there is a patriarchy, it affects men too. Well, poor men.
This is my question. What is a patriarchy? Because I thought I knew what it means, but people are using it like it's bad. What does it mean?
Yeah, patriarchy means it is a civilization that is dominated by all the institutions that are decision-making institutions, and financial institutions are dominated by men. And if there are women in those institutions, they are there for token reasons. And the thing is, while we live in a society where the majority of the leaders and Fortune 500 CEOs are men, the idea that women are held out of those positions strictly because of misogyny is ridiculous, because most women don't want to be in those positions. And that's the actual reason why.
Yeah, it's silly. It's just silly.
There's a patriarchy, and then there's oppression from a patriarchy. Those are two different things.
There's no woman that wants, like, you have these conversations, right? It's like, you want to be the leader? You want to lead me? Let's go. They don't want that shit, bro. They don't want to make the hard decisions. Yeah. Look, it's like the people in my life, like the women in my life, like, I do everything for them. Yeah. What are y'all talking about? Calm down. You can't. Like one shorty, she was talking shit about she's uncomfortable with this, and then said, we could just be 50-50. I'm like, why would you say that? I said, you're not capable of being 50-50 with me. What can you split with me? The movie bill? You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic. Women, it's leave it the way it is. It's not broken. It's fine. The old school way works. Now, not everything old school not everything from tradition has to stay the same, but the basics, let's keep it the same.
Margaret Thatcher and Angela Merkel were leaders of large European nations, and things were fine. What I'm saying is, the way the things are now, women who want that position of power can go try to get it. No one's trying to hold them back from it.
There were leaders, but there wasn't like the supreme leader. Right. It wasn't like Putin. You know what I'm saying? It is very democratically created. Now, I'm simple. Yeah. I'm simple. Yeah. Take care of the house. Right. I'm a build us a big ass fucking house. You take care of the shit.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'm not doing a dish. I'm gonna take my clothes off and throw them on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Take care of the house. I got everything else. What are you complaining about? I think the women that complain they're not set up right. They haven't experienced that life.
Sure.
They think it can't happen.
Right.
So it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah, I think both things can be true. Like men tend to be in positions of power more, but this idea that women can't, when you keep seeing women do it, is not true.
But we do everything for them.
Correct. Yeah.
What are you talking about? We do all the hard shit for
the infrastructure of society. Yes.
Yeah, like you don't want to do this shit. You don't want to be a plumber. You're a plumber. You want to be a plumber?
It's really interesting how women are there are more female military pilots than there are male kindergarten teachers in the United States, and 5% of psychologists under the age of 30 are men. But you don't see women getting into sewage. You don't see women as men you see women getting into accounting, law and things like that. You don't see women then getting into sewage and they don't get into like construction.
And I'm not discounting women in their leadership abilities.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Natalie, she's a fucking boss, and I respect the fuck out of her, and I'm scared of her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She's very formidable intellectually. You know what I mean? And she's sexy too. She got all of the goods.
Yeah.
But women like her are rare.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of those women.
That's my point. It's like I had 2 female squadron commanders while I was in the Air Force. One of them was not very good at flying the airplane, and the other one was terrific at flying the airplane. It didn't matter that they were a woman. Right. One of them, she was just exceptional. She wasn't exceptional because she was a woman. She was exceptional. Right. And so it's just more women tend to go into fields where they don't get paid as much, and then they complain about a wage gap. But no, that's not the case. Yeah. One other thing I want to talk to you about, this is really interesting. I don't know if you know who Nick Merck is. He's a Call of Duty player. He's a streamer. And he posted something to the effect, you remember, I believe it was up in Glendale, there was a riot where the LGBT people were having
heard about it.
Right. Yeah. And then this Iranian family came in there and said, no, you're not going to teach this to our kids. Mm-hmm. He made one tweet where he basically said, hey, just keep them away from our kids. It wasn't an anti-LGBT quote or whatever. He expounded on it later. Yeah. Activision then took his skin off of Call of Duty. And then he since then he stopped playing Call of Duty. Yeah. That one really made me angry. Yeah. Like because as a U.S. military member who supports the First Amendment of the Constitution, if you are above age and want to change your gender, I fully support your ability to do that. Do not tell me that before you go to puberty that you have the wherewithal to figure out whether or not you need to cut your dick off. That is ridiculous.
You can't even vote.
That you can't even vote. But the idea, like, here's the thing. Part of my maleness, if you will, is my proclivity to fuck women. I enjoy doing it, and it was something I was not aware of when I was 9 years old. Right. Part of being a man, the male experience, is having sex with women. When you're telling me that I have the information to decide whether or not I want to change whether or not I'm a man before I've had that experience, to me does not seem logical.
All right, so I'm with you, but my position is a little bit different on that.
Okay.
Do it. Cut your dick off. If you're not set up in a family that protects you from that kind of behavior, then it's survival of the fit. I don't see a way. I feel no way about it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just like the pushing of like gay marriages. Okay, those bloodlines are stopping right there.
Yeah.
You know? So I wanna, just like your guy that walked in, like I look at everything, right? I'm like, his crew looks solid. Like that's how like I want my crew, and my crew is, right? I make everybody work out. My older sister, I made him learn how to box because he's kind of wimpy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want a nation of bosses, of men, right? If people who, I don't know if that's genetic, being gay or whatever, if you want to stop your bloodline, I'm not going to stop you. Yeah. I'm not gonna spend energy trying to, it's some kind of mental, something's off. Maybe some chromosomes are just fucking rewired. Yeah. Do it. I'm not going to convince you to be like me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, but I'm not down. I'm not down for any teaching or grooming of children.
There you go. And that's why I brought it up, because you made a video about that.
But it's the parents still. Yeah. See, this is where we need to, like, people get so bent out of shape and start getting mad at people that they know over like presidential elections and shit like that. What about your school board? That matters. The president don't matter. It has no real impact on your day-to-day life. Federal government is like pageantry. You know what I'm saying? Your local government has a lot of, you have influence over your local government, right? They're right there. Yo, work that system. Fight over that shit. Nobody deals with anything local. You know what I mean? So people should be, wherever your kid go to school, like, you should be a fixture at that school. I have been at every school my kids ever been to until we doing our own thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and my kids are being taught at home. They know what's up. So it's always the parents.
Yeah.
Bro, society been weird as fuck. Look at the Romans, the Greeks. This is not new. You know what I mean? But it's us. I'm not blaming everybody. I don't expect them to teach us nothing. That's not what they're here for. Everybody's here to survive and make money and be comfortable. That's just the way that they find themselves can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fuck it. It is what it is. I don't care what they do. Nobody's, just like I don't care about racist people. I have yet to have somebody racist articulate that shit in front of me. You know what I'm saying?
That is such a great point. This concept of whenever I have these discussions, I think we're the most powerful country in the world. You mentioned because the America is most violent. That is the true statement. Yeah. There's one country on earth that has stealth capability. We do. We have F-22s, F-35s, F-117s, and B-2s.
And you're a military man,
yeah.
So please can you speak on this? I've done my research.
Yeah.
China ain't fucking with us, bro.
Yeah, so the China has what's called the P-20. It's the J-20 stealth aircraft, and the Indian Air Force was able to pick it up at 800 miles. They don't have stealth aircraft. China has a $17 trillion GDP. They have more money and people than Russia. Russia has better equipment. China copies Russia's equipment. That's generally the way it works. Russia has better equipment, like better technology, but they don't have the infrastructure because they have the same GDP as Mexico. They're become pretty poor. Yeah. They have the same GDP as Mexico. So while they have better equipment, they don't have the money to maintain it. So the way they offset it is by selling their equipment to African countries and places like that to offset the cost of Kalashnikov production or T-74 tanks or whatever, their new S-400 surface-to-air missile program. That's essentially what they do.
And then we could talk about this. They say, well, China got 1 billion people.
Yeah.
Crammed into this little fucking shitty country.
Yeah.
They're not happy there. It's not, we're like, come take our shit. You know what I'm saying? Look, I got friends, like I almost got an apartment in Bondi, in Sydney, Australia.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Bondi Beach. And then this COVID shit happened, and then I started peeping. I'm like, oh, y'all not free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Australia was not free during COVID. Yeah.
So when I look at the English-speaking countries that I feel like is like, oh, I could fuck with this. I'm like, oh, I can't. Nobody, like we never had these issues for the most part. There's people in little pockets that just stayed home and hunkered down, whatever. That was your decision. But we could do whatever the fuck we want to do because this is a land of rebels. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
For the most part.
Literally a land of rebels.
Literally.
Yeah.
You feel me? So we not, fuck all that shit. This is my shit. America is my home. And I don't think this is the best country on the planet because everybody want to be here. Yeah. And it's funny because when I've spent time in other places, I remember I was talking to this Somalian girl and I was living in UAE, right? Yeah. She was fucking gorgeous. But she was so like, she was on my dick. But she wanted to talk shit about America at every chance she get. I'm like, calm down. Like, you know, like quit acting like, you probably acting like that because you can't get over there. But we the shit. Like, why you talking to me? You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to pick on us, you know what I mean? Because we're strong. But everybody loves us. Everybody wants to be where we're at. I have yet to be in a country that I would live in over America. And I've been to a lot of beautiful places.
Yeah. I try to explain to people when they're from another country, I'm like, do you know how if you, in the United States of America, if you're convicted of 50 different felonies, they can't take your car. Unless you got it illegally. Yeah. They can't take your private property is your property no matter what. No matter how many people you killed or what crimes you committed, that is your property. We in communist countries don't look at private property the same way. Number two, we respect contracts in this country. So meaning if you're from Libya and you get into a contract negotiation with somebody from the United States and he breaks the law, he has to pay the fines. The U.S. government doesn't care what country. And the number three, if a Japanese person wants to buy the Chrysler building, we'd say, how much? We sell our U.S. equities are allowed to be bought and sold by any country in the world. If you go to the U.K., they won't let you buy a house unless you're a citizen. Right. Same thing in Australia. Other countries don't work that way. You actually, as an American citizen, I don't believe can trade on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange unless you have like a brokerage license or something like that. You have to use, Deutsche Bank has like this synthetic, what's it called, ETF you can trade instead. But the point is, we protect private property more so. We have this thing where if you and I sat here and started cussing out the president, whoever the president was, no one's going to arrest us. Yeah. We can say whatever we want, and the president can't take our money. I know these things seem so basic to us as Americans, but you don't realize this is not how this works in other countries. And furthermore, and this is the big one, we have a $26 trillion GDP, or $23 trillion GDP. That's what's 1/4 of the planet's GDP. The whole planet together is 96 trillion. 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 when you consider that, we spend more money on defense than every other country in the world combined. Russia has 1 aircraft carrier. The United States has 11. China has 1. United States, Italy has 2.
I looked all of this up, and it gave me great comfort when they were talking about, oh, Russia, China, everybody's banding together. Like, band all you. We don't need the band. You know, we're here. We have it. And even like, you know, a lot of talk about how much money we're giving to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I would love some of that reparations, run that back.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? While you giving out money, right? But we're not doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
It's for our benefit at the end of the day.
So for people who don't understand, and I'm not saying this is right, you are basically paying the Ukrainians who want to fight anyway to kill Russians who, I got news for you guys. When you join the U.S. military and you go to intel school, the first thing you study is the entire Russian inventory. You don't study the Chinese inventory. You study your allies' inventory. You learn what a Sukhoi 27 is, a Sukhoi 33, a Sukhoi 57.
MiGs.
You learn all the MiGs, and you learn all that shit first. That's the first thing you learn, because Soviet bloc arsenal is the thing that is the number 1 threat to your country. And so that's what you learn. Now, Russia has invaded Ukraine, and the United States sees them as a potential threat, and you're going to give them $130 billion or $200 billion in order to protect themselves. The problem is, if you look at how much it costs to prosecute a war in Afghanistan and Iraq at the same time, $130 billion is a fucking 99-cent menu over at Denny's, bro.
Right.
It is so cheap. So that's the reason why they're doing it. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying from a foreign policy perspective, you're taking a little bit of money for your rich country.
But here's the thing, like, there's a lot of like good red-blooded patriotic people that's, I'm not speaking on this shit because I don't know anything. I'm just watching this shit on the news like everybody else, right? But I know that we got some smart people in power. You know what I'm saying? And I know that this is not just, oh, we just love Ukraine, let's just give them money. And
for sure.
Come on, it's for us.
Yeah, for sure, because they want to join NATO and they have oil. So Ukraine now has the 20th largest oil supply on the planet. Ukraine figured that out. Ukraine wants to sell their oil to the European Union, and Russia can't let that happen. Now, while what you're saying is true, I also don't believe that Vladimir Putin gives 2 shits about the people in Donbass either. He wants that oil that's in Crimea.
For sure, 100%.
And in order for him to build a land bridge, he's got to take Donbass.
It's pretty clear what he wants. And I'm not mad at none of that. I'm not mad at, like, you know, conquest. That's the human experience.
Yeah, for sure.
If it wasn't, we'd still be in trees.
Russia has the army in order to invade, and Ukraine has the right to defend themselves. Both things can be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're playing chess and pulling strings. We're needed for America.
Yeah.
It's going to benefit us.
And just to be fair, they did the same thing to us in Vietnam. They gave them tanks and they gave them airplanes, and they did the same thing to us in Korea, and we did the same thing to them in Afghanistan in '83.
We ran the same play.
Yeah, we ran the same place. So now we're running a proxy war against
And had we
Russia.
not done that in Afghanistan with the Taliban in the 80s, they'd probably be United States of America, USSR.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
there's no way the Mujahideen would have been able to stand up to the Russian military in '83 had it not been for the United States intervention. That's correct, absolutely. The other thing I want to talk about, probably the last thing we should talk about here, because we've gone 4 hours, which has been pretty awesome. Meditation and visualization. This is something, I'm a big fan of Michael Irvin, right, from the Dallas. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm going to get to interview him on the 12th. I'm super excited about that. But one of the things he talked about was he knew where to be on the football field, and no one was going to stop him from being there. And Troy Aikman didn't have to see him. He knew to put the ball there, and Michael was going to get there. He saw the success in his mind. For me, whenever it's like a personal record for bench press, I always see me doing the thing. And sometimes I'll even see people who used to not believe in me in high school, ex-girlfriends, and they're right up here where the spotter would be. They're right up here and they're watching. And right before I go do it. Do you use meditation and visualization? Can you talk about how that's affected you?
Yeah, I use a form of meditation called mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
And with that, or you're sitting somewhere, find a focal point, and you breathe, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're not thinking deep thoughts. You're not philosophizing anything. You're being mindful of your breathing, and that's it. You can close your eyes, open your eyes, it doesn't matter, right? So once you get pretty good at that, you start doing it in noisy places. Like, I can meditate anywhere, right, if I need to. And there's times that I do need to. I need to calm my mind and silence everything because I'm starting to feel agitated, right? Too many things going on. Maybe I lost control of this lane right here or whatever. What I find that here's what meditation does biologically and physiologically. It creates gray matter where it's needed, right?
Yeah.
It helps So the amygdala, which is an ancient part of the brain, that's what like regulates or gives us like stress, anxiety,
fight or flight reflex.
Or flight,
yeah.
Right?
Amygdala literally means almond in Greek.
Right, because it's shaped like an almond.
Yep.
And how they know that?
You know exactly. Because they cut them open. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the Egyptians had the Ira is the pineal gland.
For sure.
They slice the brain open. That's crazy. But anyway, so what you're doing is two things. One, you're creating gray matter in places like memory, like cognitive things, right? So you're learning without doing anything. The exercise is this. When thoughts is coming to your mind, you're not manifesting, you're pushing it out, right? You're getting it out of there, and that's the actual exercise. Just like doing a push-up is your arms, but it's building your chest up, right? That's the exercise of mindfulness meditation. And to get into what I call the center of the universe, when you're silence, is a beautiful thing. Let's say I do a 5-minute sit, I might get 45 seconds or a minute. Every now and then a minute and a half, right? Because it's hard to get in that space.
It's hard to stay there, man.
Right,
it really
right,
is,
right.
Yeah.
But that's the exercise, and that's the beauty of doing it, right? So to be able to do it in noisy situations, how the Indians perfected it was the monks, they would do it in silence. They got good at that. Do it in noisy places, start contorting their bodies doing it. And that's where yoga comes from.
Yeah.
Yoga is like the highest form of meditation, but we don't know it as that. It's just, it happens to get you in shape too.
Yeah.
But it's meditation if you use it properly. So meditation for me, I started meditating in 2015, right? And bro, I'm talking about, it made me a better person. It gave me way more control and mastery over my emotions, my decision making. My decision making is better. I have a clear path to what needs to be done because I meditate. And then when you speak about visualization, that's something that I employ as well, right? Now, a lot of times my visualization, since I have children, is about them. I'm envisioning them. And so, because look, this is a thing that really works. While I have time to do it, I want to give it to somebody else, right? Now, this is where I employ certain things. So I trick my amygdala when I'm training, or I learned this when I was early in boxing without knowing what I was doing. So I've been doing breathing exercises before I knew breathing exercises was the thing to do, right? And it happened when I was a teenager, starting to get older, and punches start hurting, right? Because when you're a kid, y'all can punch each other all day, doesn't hurt. But 15, they start hurting, right? So I would get nervous, and that was new to me. You would feel that emotion in your stomach, and I would like get mad about it. I breathe it in, because if I don't use it, it's gonna make me afraid. It's gonna kind of paralyze me. So I would use it as fuel. I'm gonna fuck this motherfucker up. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking over there and I'm breathing that shit in. And I noticed that I was doing it before a heavy squat or a heavy bench press. And I'm like, this shit fucking easy. I'm telling myself that it's fucking easy. I've been doing that so long, it just is, right? And I kind of walk away from people because I'm breathing all crazy. But all of those breaths is triggering your amygdala, you're running away from something. So your heart is pumping a little more blood, your lungs open up a little bit more, your nostrils flare, your pupils dilate to focus. You're putting yourself in fight or flight. When you're putting yourself in fight or flight, you're putting yourself in a flow state, right? Yeah. So you could use it for physical and mental, because I do it when I'm writing too. But it's not like the physical, because I learned this last year. Apple, Amazon, all of these big companies teach their employees how to get into flow state. Yes. For work, right? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna run that play myself, and I do it. So I had to deliver, I did the VSL today before I came to the airport. Murdered that shit. Yeah. Wrote it, murdered, delivered it, and I know how to do it for me. You have to get in a comfortable environment. You play some good music. For me, I like to play some music, and I walk and I pace, and I'm just fucking flowing. It just comes, and I know that it's gonna come. So you gotta have that kind of confidence you gotta put it in your subconscious mind as well. So are you familiar with the conscious and the subconscious mind? Yeah, of course, yeah. Right? People gotta realize this. The subconscious mind is so fucking powerful. It is, yeah. So powerful. Because it's older. Because it is where our ancestors. It existed before the neocortex. When we were reptiles, our subconscious mind, the limbic system, the
amygdala, those things existed before. The things that differentiate mammals from reptiles is the neocortex. That is a lot where the conscious mind is. But what you're talking about, the amygdala is so old that you will find it in fucking snakes, things that are alligators, things that are millions of years.
And it's the most advanced
correct
part of our brain. Look, people don't, this is crazy. So so it senses fear, puts you in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Our amygdala can sense fear or potential danger without us being conscious of it.
Yeah.
Which is insane. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I feel something. But it's like, how? You know? That's why we still have so much to learn about the human body. The human body is remarkable. Our organs do way more than what we think they do.
Sure.
Right? Matter of fact, I went to a Robert Kiyosaki event 7-8 years ago, and one of the speakers was a heart surgeon. And he told a story of a operation he did, a heart transplant on a woman. Everything went smooth. The checkup, she was having these bad headaches every night. So they checked her out. Everything seemed fine. Come back and talk to me a couple months. She's like, yo, I need to see you sooner because these fucking headaches won't go away. They check her out. Everything's fine. Psyche evaluation, nothing's wrong. So he go and look at the donor's information, and what do you know? The donor was shot in the head at 9 p.m. That's how he died.
That's crazy.
So that heart took a timestamp and remembered that shit and delivered that pain to her every night, right?
Wow.
So that just happened. So how do you research that? You know what I'm saying? But that's what we are. So the things that we know, we don't know much, you know? We've been sort of civilized for 5,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Science is about 100, 200 years old, right? So we're learning everything. We're learning these things as we go along, and this is beautiful. I don't have a desire to live long just to live long. I have a desire to live long, for one, to see that my children are good without me, but for two, to see all of the things that we learn, the new advances in technology, and then the new things that we learn about the best technology that we have, the human body and the human mind. It's remarkable, bro. Think about this shit. You get cut, it just heals. Yeah. That shit is crazy to me. Yeah. People we take so much for granted. You know what I'm saying? We take for granted this fucking TV. We're in it. Yeah. That's incredible to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We take for granted things like the advent of antibiotics in the 1930s, or the transistor in 1947, or like what you just said, like mitosis healing, like because your DNA is still in each one of these cells, it knows how to repair you to a certain extent. And how far is this going to go? One of my favorite books, 2 books, by the way, the flow state idea comes from a book called Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and the idea of the world being better now because of technology. It's a really great book. It's called Enlightenment Now by Dr. Steven Pinker of Harvard, and then also another one is called Homo Deus, which is a book by Yuval Noah Harari. Those books are really great in describing.
He also wrote
Sapiens.
Sapiens. I love that book.
Sapiens is the first book. The second book is Homo Deus. The third book is called 21 Secrets for the 21st Century. Okay. Really great book. But yeah, those
21 for the 20. He's trying to make money on that one.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, but I love. He's one of the best thinkers that I can think of, because he understands humans as they are and doesn't put any politics in it, which I really appreciate.
I love that. I got some before we close. To think about, just for your audience to really take consideration. Fuck, man, it's crazy. When we talk about God, right? Like, what's God? We always trying to figure it out, or something, you know. I know I am, right? And then I think about people. I think about, like, what we all have. First of all, we can do some incredible things. Like, this is a cell phone. It's incredible.
For sure, yeah.
That came from the mind of a human, right? So let's think about that, right? That came off of technology that come from, like, ancient Kemet, right? Wireless technology was built on Nikola Tesla's studies, in which he got from ancient Kemet. You know what I'm saying? So we all have DNA in our body, right? When you do research on DNA, it says it is digital information. Yeah. Wow, digital.
Okay. You could absolutely turn it into something digital. Yeah, for sure.
But it is digital. Yeah. DNA, our DNA is measured by petabytes. Is that big, right? Yeah. 1 petabyte is 1,000 terabytes. Yeah. Terabytes is the biggest, but nope, petabyte. 1,000 petabytes is the equivalent of 500 billion 8x12 pieces of paper with binary code on both sides. Yeah. 500 billion. So you take one strand of DNA out of a cell, it stretches 6 feet. Yeah. All the DNA in a human body can wrap around the moon can reach from here to the moon 150,000 times.
That's crazy.
We have 215 petabytes of information in our bodies. What does that tell me? What is that? Well, that's genetic information from your parents, their parents, and it never stops until creation.
Yeah.
Until creation. That tells you right there that we came from something special, and we're all connected to that same source still. So there's a concept called the egg, and I feel like it's a derivative of Buddhism, but the concept is like this. Every person, and it ain't just people, every living being will be every living being before this thing is said and done. I'm gonna tell you why that's gotta be true if the laws of physics and everything is accurate. So we have energy can't be created nor destroyed.
Okay, so laws of thermodynamics.
Laws of thermodynamics, right? Can't be created or destroyed. Now, what does that really fucking mean? That means that everything that there ever was still is, and everything that there ever will be just is.
Correct. Every molecule, or not every molecule, but every atom that you are, but it was here before. So it's all derivatives of hydrogen through a fusion process in stars. Yeah.
Right. It's always here.
Mm-hmm.
It just changes forms, right? Over and over and over. So there's no death. We just call it death because our configuration is going to be different, completely different. But we're still feeding. We become fauna. We're being eaten by the insects, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like every breath that we taken from a plant.
Yeah.
And we're giving them the breath that we give out. You know what I'm saying? And then the law of correspondence. The universe finds efficiency in its processes and duplicates it. Our fingerprint identifies us. You slice open a tree, its fingerprint or ring identifies it, and it looks the exact same, right? Everything is the same. So I'm saying that to say this. I will be you. You will be me. I will be her. I'll be some paraplegic dude. I'll be some hot chick with big tits. Every human will be every human on this planet, or that's ever existed and ever will exist. If we think like that, we have to respect ourselves and respect each other and treat each other with respect. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, man, I know that's like dreamer vibes, but if people could really try to embrace a little bit of that, this would be a fucking better place. You know what I'm saying? And just people will treat each other with some respect and be kind to each other. You know, if you gotta bark on somebody, you gotta bark on somebody. But try to like have a position of like of peace and of patience. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little spiel.
You are amongst the wealthiest humans who have ever lived in the existence of the 110 billion humans that have ever lived on this planet. Mm-hmm. You are the luckiest. The very idea of your existence is just so astronomically improbable, combined with the fact that before the year 1850, half of the Earth's population died before the age of 5. Like when you realize how incredibly lucky you are, that's one thing you could have. And the other thing is you are part of a species that have 8 billion people on this planet, and part of it had to do with empathy. Otherwise, it literally would have just been kill or be killed. You would have had no empathy for anyone. Grandma and grandpa would have died immediately. Like there's no, children would have been died. No, we exist because we on some level, we had the ability to take care of each other more so than sharks and snakes and alligators and all these other animals. We figured something out that they didn't. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, just gratitude and empathy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so can you tell me real quick, if somebody wants it, because you have so many things that you offer. First of all, I want to talk about the Sacred Society. Where could somebody find out about that, and what is that?
Yeah, sacredsociety.io, and it's an event, a mastermind event, but at that event, people will have the opportunity to apply for my mentorship. It's high level. We move fast, lots of information. People that are my mentees make money. Yeah, that's what they want to do. The overarching theme is self-mastery. Yeah, is self-embetterment. Mentally, physically, spiritually. And then the finances come. I can't wait. I love when people start unlocking these codes and they're like, oh, damn, it was that easy? Is that simple? Yeah. Money, like, I'm very cavalier when it comes to money because it's easy. And I don't put a lot of importance in it. I just don't. Yeah. And I want people to think like that. And don't, that's what it's about, self-mastery.
Beautiful. And then the other thing is you are the co-founder for Snackhouse Foods. So you do meal prep now. Is it delivery meal prep? How does that work?
Trifecta is the meal prep delivery company. Okay. Shout out to my boy Greg Connolly. It's my brother. I was the first money in, and we made out like we're a $300 million company now.
Wow.
So we're doing good. It's the fastest growing meal prep delivery company in the country. So Trifecta is the shit.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I invested. I am a strategic partner. So I don't really post a lot, but
yeah,
it makes sense for me to post because I own a piece of it. So that's really the only time I've ever invested in anything.
Wow.
Outside of like the stock market and crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you have coming up? I know you mentioned the mastermind. Is there anything else you have coming up in the future?
Right now, they could just tap in, go to Mike Rashid, my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of that. I just started Patreon, so I'm no longer putting my podcast on YouTube.
Okay.
So it's behind a paywall because it's high level information. It's only $6.
Yeah.
So it's not expensive, but it's worth it. And it's gonna be a lot of shit it's a lot of things that I want to post, but I just don't.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, And I'm an interesting person. You get to know me, and you'll see some cool things. Just like I think I have you on my close friends, but my close friends be lit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not safe for work.
Yeah. Don't go to any of my shit if you're at work. You're going to just get canceled. Don't go to anything I do, period. And you're going to get canceled. Well, hopefully you come out again during the summer,
sure.
during the competitions that we got coming up this
100%.
summer.
I'll be there, and I would love to have you out, host you out in Cali.
Absolutely, yeah.
Get you on the show and everything.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be out there on the 27th. We're raising money for troops overseas, the Babes in Toyland. It's going to be
week?
No, the 27th of July.
Okay.
It's going to be Babes in Toyland there, and so we're going to host Swimsuit USA competition on the 26th. On the 27th will be Babes in Toyland. We're raising money to send care packages to troops overseas. If you want to come to that, it's going to be at Avalon.
To participate, help in
some
kind of way.
Awesome, man. I would love that, man. To get you out there.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate you sharing, time and space with your boys.
Dude, you flew out here private to come to come do my podcast, man. I'm the one. I'm really honored, man. It's really great, man. Yes, I talked to Myron before. I talked to Brandon West. They were all excited, man. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. You guys make sure you check out all of his stuff. It's very inspirational. Hopefully, man, if you stood through the whole 4 hours, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you guys, man. Just hit 20 million views on YouTube. Thank you guys. 39 million views on TikTok. So I really appreciate that, guys. And I will see you all next week.